Chapter 953. Soon, the principal of the kindergarten was also notified, and immediately made a phone call to confirm whether the children of the Liu family were staying in the class. However, after confirming, the teacher found that the Liu family's child was not in his seat. The principal immediately went out to verify, but he heard from the form teacher that the child had drunk too much water and wanted to go to the bathroom, so the new teacher had already sent him over. How long has it been? 20 minutes, the form teacher said after looking at his watch. He hasn't come back in 20 minutes. Don't you know to go and take a look? The principal panicked and quickly brought his assistant to the bathroom to look for the child. However, there was no trace of the child in the bathroom of the entire building. Seeing this, the principal immediately asked someone to check the surveillance footage. Other than the school bus leaving, there were no other suspicious traces. With this situation, the principal immediately replied to the police that the child might have been kidnapped on the school bus. Tang Yin immediately asked the principal to give him the license plate number of the school bus and sent someone to the transportation department to assist in the investigation. As for Su Che, he still followed the plan and went to the school. This was to prevent Shun Mei from creating a diversion, because it was very likely that she was still hiding the child in the school. Su Che searched around the school, but he went to all the places that could hide people. In the end, he stopped on the 5th floor of the bathroom and asked the school's security guard, "Can you open the balcony for me to see?" The security captain thought for a moment and answered, "Sir, this place has been sealed all year round. It's impossible for anyone to go up. You'll know once you go up and take a look. If something happens to the child up there, will you be responsible?" Of course, the security guard did not dare to take responsibility. He quickly took out the key and opened the door to the rooftop on the 5th floor. Other than a locked storeroom, it was empty. There was nothing else. The security guard heaved a sigh of relief when he saw this. "Look, I told you, there won't be a problem, right?" But at this moment, a child's moan came from the storeroom. Su Che immediately went forward and kicked open the door of the storeroom. He saw that the 3- or 4-year-old child was tied up and hung on the beam. If he hadn't come up, then no one would have known that the child had dried up here. Su Che took a big step forward and immediately put the child down. When the security guards saw this, they had nothing to say, because they were very guilty. "This is your school's security? Are you all just decorations?" After shouting, Su Che carried the child and ran down from the balcony. The Song family's madness had reached the point where they didn't even let their children go. Su Che had never seen such a scene. Such a small child was hung from such a high place. How big of a shadow was this to him? He might be affected for the rest of his life. "Uncle, am I going to die?" the child asked quietly in Su Che's arms. Su Che stopped, squatted on the ground, and let the child sit on his legs. He replied, "You won't die, because Uncle is here to save you. Child, remember, in this world, the strongest people are soldiers. If you're afraid in the future, become a soldier, be a policeman, and catch bad guys, understand?" The child didn't seem to understand, but he nodded heavily. With that, Su Che carried the child and sent him to the infirmary. Originally, Su Che should have breathed a sigh of relief, but when he saw the female doctor holding the equipment and wearing a mask, he felt very unnatural. Would a doctor be nervous to the point of trembling when seeing a patient? Then, the nurse came out and closed the door. But at this critical moment, Su Che rushed in and grabbed the doctor's hand. "You're the murderer, aren't you?" The female doctor started to dodge, and the nurse looked at her face carefully. "You're not Dr. Gao." The woman struggled to escape, but she fell into Su Che's hands. Unless she was a dead person, no one could escape his shackles. Soon Old Chung and the others caught up to the school bus. They thought that since Shun Mei was caught at school, there should be no problem on the school bus. However, Old Chung recognized the driver of the school bus. That was Shun Mei's accomplice. This time, Old Chung didn't give people the chance to crush his intestines like before in J City. He took out a gun and pointed it at the back of the man's head. After the man surrendered, he pressed him against the steering wheel and handcuffed him. "You won't even let a child go. Let's see where you two thieves can run this time." After an entire morning's operation, with Su Che's help, Tang Yin successfully rescued the child and caught Xin Mei and her accomplice. When Mu Qiqi received the call, she couldn't help but smile as if a heavy burden had been lifted. The child is fine. The doctor has also seen him. It's not a big deal. Captain Tang and the others will bring him to you in a while. In the future, you have to care about him more. Don't let him leave any shadows. When Mrs. Lu heard this, she immediately squatted on the ground and heaved a sigh of relief. Thank God. On the other hand, Lu Zichen thanked Mu Qiqi several times as well. What are you thanking me for? This is what we should do. After a long hour, the child was brought back to the police station. Along with him, 2 suspects were brought back. Tang Yin returned the child to the Lu couple and instructed old Cheng to keep an eye on the 2 suspects in the interrogation room. When Mrs. Lu saw the child, tears welled up in her eyes. Baby, let Mom take a good look at you. Are you okay? The child leaned into his mother's arms and shook his head. Uncle is so amazing. Uncle saved me. The child pointed at Su Che, who was standing at the door. It's good that you're fine. It's good that you're fine. The family of 3 hugged each other. Mu Qiqi stood at the side and understood the feeling of regaining something that had been lost. Seeing this scene, she was very gratified. But at the same time, she also knew that Lu Zhao's case had to continue. So, she walked to Tang Yan's side and asked, Captain Tang, when do you plan to interrogate these 2? Wait for the results of that strand of hair. Tang Yin replied with his arms crossed. Otherwise, there's no conclusive evidence to prove that Lu Zhao's death is related to her. During the interrogation, can I participate? Tang Yin looked at Mu Qiqi, and then at her bulging abdomen. Go back and rest. You've done everything you can. Leave the rest to us. I'm afraid that these 2 won't admit to being instigated behind the scenes. Chapter 954. I have already asked someone to take Shen Mei's hair and compare it with the one found on the clothes. Yes, we will have the answer soon. Let's go back. Su Che was also rushing her. Madam, Chief Xing asked me to take you home. Mu Qiqi looked at the 3 members of the Lu family and nodded. Got it. I'll pack up and go back now. Don't worry about Shan Shan. My mommy and 5th aunt will help. Thank you. I will hurry up and solve the case as soon as possible. The people Mu Qiqi hated the most were those who touched the old, women and children, and the Song family did all of them. Therefore, no matter what others thought or planned, as long as Tang Yin could use her, she would help the police and the Song family settle the score at all costs. After Mu Qiqi left, Tang Yin asked the police to block the news in case the Song family came to cause trouble. Before he could get any solid evidence, he wanted to see what he could dig out from these 2 people's mouths. Then, the 3 members of the Lu family also said goodbye to Tang Yin. Captain Tang, thank you so much for today. Lu Zichen protected his wife and daughter. If it wasn't for the police's timely rescue, I'm afraid my son would have been dead. The person you should thank is Qiqi. She was pregnant last night and found the smell of perfume at the murder scene. Today she came to send your father off. Otherwise, we wouldn't have found out that the murderer's target was your son, Tang Yin said honestly. Jianchuan has been very chaotic recently. Be careful. We know. We'll leave my father to you. Lu Zichen's family of 3 bowed to Tang Yin. It's my job. Don't worry. After that, Tang Yin sent someone to send the Lu family away. However, just as Lu Zichen walked out of the police station with his wife and children, he saw Su Che waiting at the door. President Lu, our President Sheng wants to see you. I wonder if it's convenient. Lu Zichen looked at Mu Qiqi in the car and nodded. I'll follow behind you. Now that Sheng Xiao wanted to meet the Lu family, he would not avoid it at all. Anyway, Sheng Xiao had already expressed his full support for the Lu family. This was also to prevent the Song family from continuing to target the Lu family. Soon, Su Che brought Mu Qiqi and the Lu family to Zhongting's office. The first thing Sheng Xiao did when he rose from his desk was to hug Mu Qiqi and arrange for Lu Zichen's family to be seated. Chief Sheng, what are your orders? You are not my subordinate, so our relationship is one of cooperation. After Sheng Xiao finished speaking, he asked his secretary to place the drafted contract in front of Lu Zichen. This is the letter of intent for the cooperation between Zhongting and the Lu Corporation. As long as the Lu Corporation's board of directors recognizes your identity, Zhongting will invest a large amount of money to support the Lu Corporation's education. There are detailed amounts in it. Take a look first. Lu Zichen took the contract from his secretary in disbelief. Chief Sheng, if you're afraid, you can back out of this matter. I'll arrange a safe place for your family of 3. Sheng Xiao even arranged a second option for Lu Zichen. However, Lu Zichen shook his head. My father died for no reason. Now, the murderer has yet to be brought to justice. As his son, how can I abandon him and go abroad to enjoy myself? Besides, my father is no longer around. I have to guard the Lu Corporation for him. This is the only thing I can do for him as his son. Even if Chief Sheng doesn't inject funds, I will still attend the inauguration ceremony. Even if I'm alone, and it'll only make things difficult for my wife and son. What are you talking about? Mrs. Lu quickly said. You know I support you. After listening to the couple's words, Sheng Xiao curled his lips and looked satisfied. Since you're going to do it, of course you have to do it to the best of your ability. With your current situation, you can't take care of both inside and outside. Whether you can stabilize the board of directors will depend on your ability. As for the external part, Zhongting will take care of it. So, what you have to do is to prove to Jianchuan, and even the whole country, that the Lu Corporation's education is the best. After that, Su Che will carefully select 4 bodyguards to be responsible for the daily life of your family of 3. The security system of your villa will also be upgraded. If the Song family wants to touch you, they'll have to ask me first. After Lu Zichen heard this, he held his wife's hand and bowed to Sheng Xiao again. I won't let you down. Thank you, Mrs. Sheng. You saved my son today. I can't repay this kindness. It's all thanks to Su Che. Mu Chichi quickly pointed at Su Che and said, If you want to thank someone, thank him. Su Che couldn't stand such a scene, and quickly slipped away. When Mu Chichi saw this, she couldn't help but laugh. What he means is that there's no need for everything. CEO Sheng, you have a good wife. After Sheng Xiao heard this, he looked at Mu Chichi. Mu Chichi also looked at Sheng Xiao. Listen, someone praised her, right? She still has a long way to go. In the afternoon at the Song family. Originally, according to Uncle Rong's expectations, Shen Mei and her husband should have dealt with Lu Zichen's son long ago. However, there was still no news of Shen Mei and her husband. Uncle Rong couldn't help but wonder if something had gone wrong with the mission. Although Tang Yan had blocked the news, it was still a big commotion. As long as Uncle Rong sent someone out, he would know that his 2 capable subordinates were already at the police station. Arresting a man was within Uncle Rong's expectations. After all, he was there to make Shen Mei a scapegoat. But why? Shen Mei would be exposed. What went wrong? Lu Zhao's case was all about a man. How did someone know that a woman was involved? Even so, both of them were arrested. However, Uncle Rong wasn't worried at all that his identity would be exposed, because he knew very well that the police wouldn't be able to get anything out of them. However, losing 2 people just like that made him very uncomfortable. No, it should be said that he was angry. He wanted to find out who had found out about Shen Mei. Soon, the news that Zhongting was going to support the Lu Corporation was spread by the media in Jianchuan. At this critical juncture, when those partners saw that Lu Zhao was dead, they all had plans to retreat. However, now that Zhongting had invested in them and their boss had spoken, these small fries naturally chose to firmly cling onto the Lu Corporation's thigh. When Song Buozhi received the news, he immediately laughed. This was the result of Uncle Rong making a move. Sheng Xiao was a person who didn't like others to provoke him. Now that Yashang Group had bullied them to such an extent, as long as he moved his fingers and supported the Lu Corporation, Yashang Group would not have an easy time for the next few years. Chapter 955. What are you saying? Song Jiang was so angry that he was almost confused. Because of your radicalism, Sheng Xiao has already openly invested in Yashang Group. Do you know the consequences of his intervention? Yashang Group is a foreign company to begin with. It has already taken a lot of effort to compete with local companies. Now that Zhongting has intervened, they have everything now. What can Yashang Group use to compete? Or are you still very confident in our foreign financial industry? After hearing Song Buoji's call, Song Jiang was so angry that he almost smashed his phone. Sheng Xiao, it's Sheng Xiao again. He has the final say here. It doesn't matter if you admit it or not. This is the truth. If you want Yashang Group to have a harder time, you can continue to take the riskiest path with Uncle Rong. But I won't accompany you. After hearing Song Buoji's words, Song Jiang's eyes widened. You bastard! Don't you know why your father is doing this? You're still making sarcastic remarks. Yashang Group is facing so much pressure now that Zhongting is helping the Lu Corporation crush them. I don't think you'll be able to play until Deputy City Mayor Liang is replaced. After saying that, Song Buoji hung up the phone. Speaking of which, he seemed to be at fault too. Half a year ago, Uncle Rong was not like this. Who knew that he would become so fierce and ruthless? What about Song Jiang? His son hung up on him. Now that Yashang Group was still facing such a crisis, he only wanted to know what went wrong. Therefore, after returning home, he directly questioned Uncle Rong. Didn't we agree to leave everything to you? Won't there be a problem? But what's the result now? Uncle Rong was sitting in the living room drinking tea. When he heard Song Jiang's questioning, he lost his temper. My people are risking their lives for you. I haven't even said anything, but you're the one blaming them first. Old Song, we're in the same boat. Now that the boat is leaking, we can only think of repairing it. Internal strife won't work. My people have gone in, but you don't have to worry. They won't say anything. However, we have to think of a way to get rid of Sheng Xiao. Otherwise, you won't be able to do anything in Jianchuan in the future. After hearing his old friend's words, Song Jiang calmed down and nodded. The success or failure of revenge depends on Sheng Xiao alone. Without him, the Shen family, the Sheng family, and even the Lu family are just ants in my hands. It's easy to crush them. Since you already know, let's take our time to think about it. After all, they knew very well that Sheng Xiao was the core of everything. You stay at home and calm down. I'm going to inquire about a few things. Uncle Rong put down his teacup and prepared to go out. He had to find out who had found out about Xin Mei. In the Jianchuan branch office, Tang Yin was sitting in the interrogation room. Opposite him was a petite and beautiful woman. She was the famous Xin Mei. Why did you kidnap that child? Tang Yan's tone was still calm, because he knew that he would have to waste a lot of time dealing with this cunning suspect. I just saw that the Lu family is rich, so I wanted to have a child. Xin Mei lowered her head and answered very calmly. Because she was caught red-handed kidnapping the child, she couldn't deny it. In addition, there was the child's confession and so on. Even if she wanted to refute, she didn't have the chance. Is that so? But you locked the child on the rooftop and didn't chase him away. Your intention was to kill him, not to take him away, right? I just wanted to wait for the limelight to pass before I took him away. Xin Mei answered smoothly. So, you want to extort money from the Lu family to ransom him? Yes. Xin Mei continued to nod. The one locked up next door is your companion? Tang Yin didn't continue to dwell on the child. Instead, he took the opportunity to change the topic. Yes. Then do you know that in Lu Zhao's case he's a murder suspect? Tang Yin asked again. The surveillance footage shows that he moved Lu Zhao's body into the van. His DNA was also found in the cigarette butts found at the crime scene. Do you know about this? I don't know. Xin Mei denied it without thinking. She didn't panic at all. Tang Yin smiled when he saw how calm she was. You were only in prison last year. You should be familiar with the police station, right? So, I'm afraid you won't be afraid of this interrogation room. It's a kidnapping crime. There's no death. At most, you'll be sentenced to 10 years in prison. 10 years later, you'll be a good man again. Is that what you're planning? Let me ask you again. Do you know that Lu Zhao was killed? No matter how Tang Yin asked, Xin Mei was still a pool of stagnant water. I really don't know. Tang Yin didn't panic. Instead, he leaned closer to Xin Mei and sniffed her body. This perfume is still very strong. Do you recognize this dress? Tang Yin raised the evidence bag in his hand, so that Xin Mei could see clearly what was inside. When Xin Mei saw the clothes, her expression changed slightly. Let me ask you again. Do you know anything about Lu Zhao's case? Shenmei raised her head and looked at Tang Yin. Her cunning expression made Tang Yin very impatient. I don't know. Shenmei insisted that she didn't know. When the man next door brought Lu Zhao's body into the van, you were in the convenience store next door. You were wearing this and chatting with the boss and the van driver. Do you want me to show you more detailed surveillance footage? Shenmei's eyes suddenly widened. That's not me. It seems that you really treat the police as fools. In the end, Tang Yin took out an evidence bag. There was a strand of hair in it. This strand of hair was taken from the trench coat. It matches your DNA. What else do you have to say? Shenmei didn't say anything because from this moment on, she pretended to be mute. No matter how Tang Yin interrogated her, she just wouldn't admit it. With the evidence in my hands, you and the man next door can no longer stay out of this matter. Why are you suffering so much? Of course, I know that you're silent, because you're waiting for your sugar daddy to come and save you. The reason why I'm still willing to sit here is because I want to know who your sugar daddy is. It depends on whether you speak first or the man next door. After saying that, Tang Yin stood up and said to his subordinate beside him, continue the interrogation. Got it, Captain Tang. Tang Yin knew that she wouldn't confess, so he had to think of a way to make either Shenmei or the man reveal the mastermind behind it. Although everyone knew who it was, there was a lack of evidence. After leaving the interrogation room, Tang Yin called Old Cheng over. Investigate Shenmei's background. Everything, including what happened to her in prison for the past 7 years. I don't believe that I can't find a breakthrough. Chapter 956. Tang Yin didn't want to go to the hospital to see Feng Shanshan and the child. Instead, he wanted to bring the mother and son home. It was so chaotic outside now. Who knew if the Song family would target the three of them again? Everything was fine with the first two people, but now, they had a child. After experiencing so many twists and turns, he didn't want to put his wife and child in danger. Therefore, after arriving at the hospital, he helped Feng Shanshan pack her things. How's the case going? Feng Shanshan hugged their child and coaxed him while asking the man who was packing. It's almost over. Tang Yin carried the mother and son's belongings and placed them on the chair. Then, he carefully took his son from Feng Shanshan's hands. Go pack up. We'll leave the hospital immediately. Okay. After lying in the hospital for a few days, Feng Shanshan had long been homesick. After this case is over, I'll stay at home and accompany you for a few days. Tang Yin coaxed his son and said gently to Feng Shanshan, I haven't changed his diaper yet, and I don't know how heavy he is. The child has been born for a few days, but I'm still out of it. Okay. Feng Shanshan smiled and nodded. After hearing Feng Shanshan's answer, Tang Yin freed one hand and wrapped it around Feng Shanshan's neck. He kissed her forehead gently. It's been hard on you these few days. Feng Shanshan shook her head again, because she knew that although this man was out all day, he was worried about her and her son. After you're done with your confinement, we'll go and thank Fifth Aunt and Auntie Sheng. I'll listen to you. Feng Shanshan now had a husband and a son. She was very satisfied. The couple brought their son back to the house. On the other hand, Sheng Xiao had been investigating the new people around Songjiang for the past few days. With the joint efforts of a few people, they finally had a good harvest. According to the information sent by Su Che, this person's surname was Feng, and he was known as Uncle Rong. He had been in the underworld for 20 years and later, he cleared his career abroad. He was ruthless and merciless. This Uncle Rong and Song Jiang have been in cahoots abroad. I'm afraid Uncle Rong was the one who handled Lu Zhao's matter. The two of them have been best friends for many years. However, they aren't completely on the same page. Song Jiang's overall goal is revenge, but Uncle Rong is after money. Sheng Xiao nodded and nodded. Is that person in Jianchuan now? Sheng Xiao asked even as he flipped through the information. Yes, I checked his itinerary. He's only been back in the country for a few days. In just a few days, Lu Zhao. Su Che nodded. One Song Jiang is already very uncomfortable. If there's another Uncle Rong, I'm afraid we'll also encounter a lot of difficulties, especially with the Lu family's matter this time. Zhongting stepped forward to block the disaster. I'm afraid those two people have long regarded you as a thorn in their side, and will be happy to get rid of you. No matter what, I will always be an obstacle to them. Sheng Xiao did not take that to heart. Next, investigate the relationship between Shen Mei and this Uncle Rong, and see if we can find any clues between them. Sheng Xiao put down the information and gave Su Che a task. Tomorrow is Lu Zichen's inauguration press conference. We have to attend. After what happened this morning, Lu Zichen's family is probably scared out of their wits. Next, you put in place the security. The family of 3 will naturally be safe and sound. Moreover, Song Jiang should now know that all the problems were with him, not with the Lu family. There was no other use in dealing with the Lu family other than consuming his own strength. Then, didn't the president take all the danger on himself? After Sheng Xiao heard Su Che's words, he put down the pen in his hand and leaned back in his office chair. He revealed a smile. If these two really work together to deal with me, it'll save me a lot of effort. I'm just afraid that they'll put their minds where they shouldn't be. Su Che knew that the other place Sheng Xiao was talking about was Mu Qiqi. However, everyone knew how important Mu Qiqi was to him. Moreover, she was pregnant. Compared to dealing with him, it was much easier. This time, the Lu family's suppression of the Yashang group will expose more shortcomings in the Song family's economy. It won't be long before Song Jiang can't sit still. Soon it was late at night. Mu Qiqi was at home, anxiously waiting for the results of Shen Mei's interrogation. However, the two of them refused to say anything. Even in the face of the evidence, the two of them still showed extraordinary mental fortitude and did not say anything at all. When Sheng Xiao returned home, he saw the pregnant woman who was 8 months pregnant. She did not behave at all, so he directly carried her and put her on the bed. From now on, if I don't see you on the bed when it's time to sleep, don't even think about helping me with anything the branch office wants. Mu Qiqi leaned against the bed and pouted. I just want to know if Shen Mei confessed. You know very well in your heart that she won't confess. That's why you're walking around the room. Sheng Xiao directly exposed her. These two people are well trained. They already have a lot of experience in dealing with such things. If they don't make a ruthless move, they won't let go. Do you know the identity of the person behind them? Sheng Xiao reached out and hugged Mu Qiqi. He hoped that she would be a little more muddle-headed and stupid. You're pregnant now. You need to rest. Mu Qiqi actually knew that she had indeed gone overboard during this period of time. Sheng Xiao had fulfilled everything she wanted to do. She couldn't ask for anything more. I'm just afraid that Song Jiang will take an unconventional approach and hurt you. Your man isn't that easy to deal with. Sheng Xiao let go of Mu Qiqi's round body and pulled up the blanket for her. Go to sleep first. I'll be in the study. Mu Qiqi took the opportunity to pull Sheng Xiao back. It's been a long time since you told your daughter a bedtime story. Sheng Xiao looked at her eyes that were sparkling like stars, so he nodded. Let me wash up first. I don't know why I'm so keen on bedtime stories. Because I can lean in your arms, listen to your voice, and feel your heartbeat. Just thinking about it makes me feel very happy. Sheng Xiao chuckled and pinched Mu Qiqi's nose. Wait. Ever since she found out that she was pregnant, she had been trapped for 8 months. She couldn't eat what she liked, couldn't play what she liked, and didn't even go shopping or go to any beautiful places. Other than her home, it was the forensics laboratory of the branch office. Sometimes, when he thought about it, he couldn't bear it. So, Sheng Xiao quickly washed up and returned to the bed. He lay down beside Mu Qiqi and reached out to hug her. What do you want to hear today? Tell me something scary, Mu Qiqi said as she leaned into Sheng Xiao's arms. Sheng Xiao frowned and put down the fairy tale book in his hand. It seemed that he could only make it up. The winter night was really cold. Chapter 957. The police officer interrogating Shen Mei had been dozing off. However, Shen Mei was in high spirits. She sat on the chair swaying, but did not say a word. Tang Yin coaxed his son to sleep and returned to the police station. He found that Shen Mei had not confessed yet. He wanted to use some tricks, but the chief suddenly came to the interrogation room. Tang Yin, come out for a moment. Tang Yin walked to the chief and saw the chief introduce him to a person. This is Chief Long from the 9th Division. The reason why he came here is because he heard that we caught Xin Mei, so he specially came to apply for us to transfer her to him for interrogation. Tang Yin frowned when he heard the words 9th Division. He had heard that the higher-ups were investigating Bai Sini's case, but no one had taken action. This time, they had appeared and asked for Shen Mei. I want to know the reason. Song Jiang, Feng Chang, and Shen Mei you caught are all in the same boat. We've been waiting for Feng Chang for a long time, but we haven't seen him make a move. This time, he exposed Shen Mei. Of course, we want to get something new from Shen Mei's mouth, Chief Long explained. Tang Yin, don't worry. When she goes to the 9th Division, she'll vomit everything. It's better than sitting here and letting you guys stare at each other. What do you think? Song Jiang has caused so much trouble. Are you still not planning to close the net? Tang Yan's tone was a little unfriendly. If I hand my prisoner over to you, I won't get any information. How can I in Lu Zhao's case? As long as Xin Mei confesses, I can tell you everything. The premise is that you must abide by the rules of confidentiality. Of course, that's not a problem, Tang Yin replied. Instead of letting Shen Mei be locked up here, it would be better to send her to the 9th Division. That way, the results of the investigation would come faster. After all, the 9th Division was responsible for the interrogation of these major cases. They had much more methods than the police station. Then I'll take Shen Mei away now. I'll leave the other one to you. Chief Long took the person, and Tang Yin helped transfer her. After that, he asked the chief, are the people from the 9th Division reliable? Anyway, they can ask whatever you want to know. Tang Yin did not ask any more questions. Instead, he went to another interrogation room. The man who had been treated as a scapegoat was currently looking down at his feet. No one knew what he was thinking. Yang Wentao, Tang Yin shouted. You're Shen Mei's lover, right? In September this year, you were diagnosed with lung cancer. Knowing that you don't have much time left, you decided to help Shen Mei do something big, right? The man in front of her was completely silent. It's fine if you don't want to tell me, but do you know where Shen Mei went? Tang Yin asked the seriously ill man. She was taken away by the 9th Division. Do you know what kind of place the 9th Division is? That place isn't the police station. The police will treat you politely, and even serve you tea. Once you enter that place, the only path left for you is to confess, or live a life worse than death. The longer you persist, the longer she will suffer. The man finally raised his head. I want to see Shen Mei. Not to mention you, even I can't see her now. Tang Yin answered him directly. The evidence for the kidnapping of Lu Zhao and the Lu family's child is conclusive. You can't deny it, but as long as you tell us the whole story, Shen Mei can avoid a lot of pain. You're in the middle stage of cancer. You know how it feels. If you want to give her a chance, you'd better tell her. The man put his palms together. It was obvious that he was struggling. I can't say it. If I say it, she will die too. Then let's just wait like this. Tang Yin spread his hands and made an indifferent gesture. Anyway, Shen Mei is in the 9th Division now. It doesn't matter if you don't tell her. She will have to tell you everything. After saying that, Tang Yin got up from the chair. This is the last chance I'm giving you. In the future, even if you want to tell me, I won't fight for you to go to the 9th Division to plead for you. I don't know much, Yang Wentao said nervously. Yang Wentao said nervously. I only know that there's someone above Shen Mei, but I've always been working with Shen Mei. I do love her, and I'm indeed going to die. But if the police want me to explain the mastermind, I really can't answer anything. Then explain the process of you and Shen Mei's crime clearly. Lu Zhao's case. I was the one who killed him. Watch your words. The forensic doctor has confirmed that it was a woman who strangled Lu Zhao. Tang Yin immediately retorted. If you're going to talk about these useless things, I think you'd better not. Shen Mei and I lured him to the demolition house together. I was also the one who did it, but my illness suddenly acted up and I lost my strength. That's why Shen Mei took over, Yang Wentao explained. I was also the one who dumped the body. Then do you know that Shen Mei has been using you? I know, Yang Wentao answered in a low voice. Then do you know that you're her scapegoat? I know too. This was undoubtedly true love. Tang Yin didn't even know how to describe this man who was crazy about love. You can't explain what's behind it, but Shen Mei still has to pay the price for everything she's done. Tang Yin knew that Yang Wentao really couldn't spit out anything. It was no wonder that the people from the 9th Division didn't want him at all. Therefore, Tang Yin got up from his chair again and was about to hand it over to his subordinates to deal with it. However, at this moment, Yang Wentao suddenly stopped him. I only know that the person's surname is Feng. Shen Mei calls him Uncle Rong. Tang Yin turned around and looked at Yang Wentao meaningfully. If something happens to Shen Mei, you want that Uncle Rong to die with her, right? Yang Wentao didn't say anything, but his intention was obvious. Tang Yin finally got some new information. He immediately asked his subordinates to make a statement, while he returned to the office and asked Old Cheng to immediately investigate who this so-called Uncle Rong, who was the Feng Chang mentioned by the 9th Division, was. For some reason, perhaps because of the appearance of the people from the 9th Division, Tang Yin suddenly had a feeling that the clouds were about to be lifted. The Song family's days were numbered. Old Cheng, I'll be able to avenge you soon. When Old Cheng heard this, he immediately became excited. He thought that Tang Yin had never taken this matter to heart, but he didn't expect him to still remember it. Thank you, Captain Tang. Soon Jianchuan began to fog. As for Uncle Rong, he returned to the Song family with a body full of water vapor. He used several connections to find out a little bit. After Shen Mei was arrested, she was transferred that night. As for where she was transferred, he had no way of knowing. Uncle Rong felt that something was wrong. Although he knew that Shen Mei was very loyal, she was still in the hands of the police. If the police used some tricks to make Shen Mei reveal the truth, the consequences would be unimaginable. At this point, he also knew who suspected Shen Mei and caused her to be exposed. Chapter 958. However, in front of Song Jiang, Uncle Rong did not show any signs of panic. After entering the Song family's living room, he saw the father and son of the Song family drinking tea around the sofa. Why would he drink tea in the middle of the night? It was just an act. Thinking of this, Uncle Rong put down his frown and sat beside Song Jiang. It's been a long time since I've seen you two play chess together. We were waiting for you. Song Buoji put down the chess piece and looked up at Uncle Rong. Uncle Rong, your subordinates have been arrested by the police. So what? My subordinates are loyal to me. They will never betray me. You believe them, but how can we believe them? Right now Yashang Group is in troubled times. You should go abroad to avoid trouble. Song Buoji said to Uncle Rong mercilessly. If the police find out about our relationship again, then the Song family's hard work for more than 20 years will be over. When Uncle Rong heard this, he couldn't help but sneer. He stood up and slammed the table. You and your son are still as good as ever. Who did I come back from abroad for? I killed someone for you, father and son. Now that my people are inside, you want to kick me away for your own safety? How can there be such a good thing in this world? Old Feng, we're also thinking about the long term. Think about it. Now that Yashang Group is being suppressed by the Lu Corporation, and Zhongting is interfering. Now that the police have caught your subordinate, if she can't take it and says everything, none of the three of us will be able to escape. If I go abroad, who can guarantee my safety? Plus, when I go abroad, you and your father will cut off our relationship. Then, won't I be the only one left to take the blame? Uncle Rong was no fool. He naturally would not do something that would harm his interests. I will never leave Jianchuan. Both of you, father and son, give up on this idea. When Song Buoji saw Uncle Rong sit down again, he gave his father a look. The father and son had a tacit understanding. They could only appease him first. I know what you and your father are thinking, but we are in the same boat now. No one can stay out of this. We can only get through this together. Don't you want to deal with Sheng Xiao? I have a way. We only have a chance to survive if we take him down. Therefore, from now on, the three of us must trust each other unconditionally. However, what Song Jiang was thinking about now was not how to take down Sheng Xiao, but how to get rid of Uncle Rong. If the police found any clues, they would not be able to protect themselves, let alone Sheng Xiao. I'll talk about my method first. See if there's any room for it to work. I know that Mu Qiqi has an aunt in Jianchuan. Right now, the only person around her that's easy to deal with is this aunt. You too. Think carefully about whether you want to deal with me or Mu Qiqi's aunt first. I'll wait for your reply. After saying that, Uncle Rong stood up and returned to his room. Song Jiang sat on the sofa and took a deep breath. He regretted his radical actions. He had a good hand, but now he had messed it up. Actually, the situation isn't that bad. But Dad, you have to be prepared. Song Buozhi was hinting that Song Jiang had to make a choice. The dangerous person upstairs could not be left alive. At the branch office, although Tang Yin knew about Feng Chang from Yang Wentao, he would not act rashly before Shen Mei's confession came out. This was because he wanted to wait for Shen Mei's confession to come out before he dealt with Song Jiang and the others in one fell swoop. The night gradually darkened. Jianchuan in winter seemed deserted and desolate. Tomorrow was Lu Zichen's inauguration press conference. As the CEO of Zhongting, Sheng Xiao would also attend the press conference tomorrow. The next morning, Mu Qiqi straightened her bulging belly and personally helped Sheng Xiao put on an irregularly tailored white suit. Looking at his tall and slender figure, Mu Qiqi could not help but say, "Master Xiao, there will be many socialites and ladies at the press conference. They will all be staring at you. I'll only look at Lu Zichen." Sheng Xiao lowered his head and said to her, "Are you satisfied? I want to go too. Lu Zichen is an outstanding man. I want to see him shine." Lu Zichen is an outstanding man? Huh. Sheng Xiao could not help but repeat Mu Qiqi's words. His tone was filled with jealousy. Mu Qiqi immediately laughed. She grabbed his shirt and asked, "Can't I praise others? Go change your clothes. I'll take you out in 10 minutes. Sheng Xiao did not continue discussing this issue with her. Instead, he wanted to bring her to the venue of the inauguration press conference. Mu Qiqi seized the opportunity and quickly went to the cloakroom. However, after changing her clothes, she frowned again. "I'd better not go. I haven't put on makeup for a few months. I don't look energetic when I'm barefaced like this." After Sheng Xiao heard this, he entered the cloakroom and held her hand. "You're my woman. I'll just look at you. It's not up to others to admire you, and I won't allow them to judge you. Can we go now?" After getting pregnant, women would sometimes let their imaginations run wild because the other party was too outstanding. However, because of this man's protection, Mu Qiqi felt very at ease. The two of them walked downstairs hand in hand. They had already arranged to leave immediately, but Tang Yan's phone call delayed Sheng Xiao. "Shen Mei has told us, so we're going to summon Feng Chang immediately. She didn't mention Song Jiang." Sheng Xiao frowned and asked Tang Yan, "Step by step. These people are very cunning. Sooner or later, we'll get rid of them." Tang Yan answered Sheng Xiao calmly. "When we catch Feng Chang, his relationship with the Song family will gradually become clear. When that time comes, we won't have a chance to send the father and son to prison. Feng Chang won't be that easy to catch." This was not Sheng Xiao's discouraging words, but the truth. Feng Chang had many years of experience in the underworld. What he knew best was to protect his life. It doesn't matter if he's easy to catch or not. The fact that the police have summoned him means that they found him. I don't believe that he and the Song father and son will be together in the end. I'll attend the Lu Corporation's event first and wait for your news." Sheng Xiao saw that Mu Qiqi was a little tired from standing downstairs, so he was about to hang up the phone. It would not be easy for Tang Yin to go to the Song family to capture them now. It might even anger Feng Chang. However, the path of the three of them was about to come to an end. He wanted to solve these three problems once and for all before the little thing gave birth. Mu Qiqi saw that Sheng Xiao had been on the phone for so long and guessed that it might be Tang Yin. She asked, "What's the progress on Captain Tang's side? Let's go to the event first. I'll tell you on the way." Sheng Xiao hugged her and protected her as she left the Banyan courtyard and got into his black Bentley. After hanging up, Tang Yin also began to take action. He did not know what method the 9th Division had used to make Shen Mei confess. It had only been one night, but Shen Mei had actually vomited out everything that she needed to. Chapter 959. Because Uncle Rong lived in the Song family, Tang Yin went straight to the Song family with the summons. When the servants of the Song family saw so many police officers at the door early in the morning, they panicked and immediately went to look for Song Jiang. Song Jiang did not expect the police to arrive so quickly, so he asked Uncle Rong to find a place to hide. He went downstairs to find out why the police were here. Song Buozhi also saw Tang Yin downstairs from the bedroom on the second floor. He did not need to think about it to know that Uncle Rong's so-called loyal subordinate had probably sold him out. Why did you come to my house so early in the morning? Tang Yin first took out his work ID and summons before slowly saying, I thought that Mr. Song should know very well why I'm here. The murderer of Lu Zhao's case has been found out, but during the interrogation of the suspect, she accidentally confessed the mastermind behind it. That's why I came to the Song family to look for her. Why did the murderer of Lu Zhao come to the Song family to capture someone? Song Jiang acted as if he did not know anything. He was puzzled by Tang Yan's actions. Doesn't Feng Chong live in the Song family? Could it be that the police's intelligence is wrong? I think it's better for Mr. Song to hand him over. Otherwise, if the matter blows up, it won't be good for Yashang Group. Song Jiang looked at Tang Yin with a murderous look in his eyes. He did not use Cheng Bin to kill him back then, but now he had brought himself big trouble. Then, Song Buozhi appeared behind the two of them. He looked at Tang Yin, who was wearing a black jacket, and said, Officer Tang, why don't you just come in and search? Yashang Group is now under attack from all sides. We can't afford to have any more rumors. Song Jiang turned around and looked at his son. His brows were tightly furrowed. Song Buozhi clearly knew that Uncle Rong was upstairs, yet he still asked the police to go in. Was he planning to perish together with everyone? Finally, there's still a reasonable person in Yashang Group. Then, we'll have to offend you. Go in and search carefully. Tang Yin led the team and personally went in to search. He had a premonition that Feng Chong, who had been a big shot for decades, would not be caught so easily. However, he still had to take this step, because he wanted to tell everyone that the Lu Zhao case was related to the Song family. After a search, there was no one else in the villa other than the father and son. Captain Tang, Feng Chong ran away. Old Cheng found Feng Chong's things in the Song family. Then he pointed at the Song father and son with his chin and said, Do you want to bring them back for questioning? Since you are harboring a criminal, of course you have to bring him back for interrogation. Tang Yin said to the Song father and son, I'm sorry, Mr. Song. I'll have to trouble you and your son to come with us. Lu Zhao's case has nothing to do with us. But the criminal is staying in your house. Does it matter? Come with us to make a statement first. The police are handling this case. Please cooperate. Tang Yin said to the two of them in a businesslike manner. Song Jiang's face was ashen, and even the veins on his neck were vaguely visible. However, he had no choice. Let's go with Captain Tang. It's all for the sake of living. It's not easy. At this moment, Song Buozhi suppressed his father's anger. If he was really angry, he would fall into Tang Yan's trap. After all, it was easy for people to say and do wrong things when they lost control. Okay, we'll go with you. But let me warn you, Captain Tang, Yashang Group is not to be trifled with. Are you threatening me? The People's Police are the least afraid of threats. After saying that, Tang Yin said to Old Cheng, Take them away. Yashang Group had a lawyer. Moreover, Shen Mei's confession only mentioned Feng Chong, but it did not mention Yashang Group or the Song father and son. Tang Yin knew that it would not be of much use to bring the two of them back. However, he wanted to force Feng Chong to make a move. In addition, he wanted to tell the people of Jianchuan about the close relationship between Lu Zhao's case and the Song father and son. Today was the day Lu Zichen announced his inauguration. He also hoped that this big gift would allow those companies that supported local education and healthy development to have no worries. Then, the Song father and son got into the police car together. What exactly are you planning? Song Jiang asked his son with his back facing the police. If you don't fulfill Captain Tang's wish today, he will think of other ways to deal with you. Dad, don't forget that in order to stop his subordinates from continuing to investigate by Sini's cases in J City, You sent someone to bump into his subordinates. Coupled with Cheng Bin's grudge, do you think he will let us off so easily? To be able to become the Shen family's godson-in-law and be brothers with Sheng Xiao. Do you think he's really someone to be trifled with? So what? When I get out, I'll definitely teach him what it means to respect the old and love the young. Song Jiang did not take a small criminal police officer like Tang Yin to heart. After all, there was a big shot behind him who knew how to protect him. However, he did not know that this was a trap. As long as the deputy chief Liang, he mentioned, really had the guts to protect him, then the higher-ups would be able to save a lot of effort in investigating. However, this deputy chief Liang was probably not that stupid. Captain Tang, what do you plan to do with the father and son? Old Cheng asked Tang Yin in the car. What can I do? Follow the normal procedure. When the time is up, I still have to let them go. Tang Yin answered Old Cheng as he ate breakfast. As Tang Yin ate breakfast, he answered Old Cheng. I'll avenge you in J City, but not now. I know. I'm already very grateful that Captain Tang still remembers it. In fact, Chief Long of the 9th Division did indeed have an agreement with Tang Yin. He wanted to capture the father and son, to see if anyone would step forward to protect them. They already had a lot of insider information about Bicini's case, but because it involved a big case, they would not really make a move unless they had conclusive evidence. Also, report Lu Zhao's case and issue a wanted order. At 10 o'clock in the morning, at the venue of the Lu Corporation's inauguration press conference, before the speech even started, the people in the education world received news that the father and son from Yashang Group had been invited to the police station for tea. It was related to Lu Zhao's case. Then the police issued a wanted order. It turned out that there were 3 murderers who killed Lu Zhao, and the mastermind was Feng Chang. Wasn't it obvious that Yashang Group had created such a brutal murder case in order to suppress their opponent? At 10:15 in the morning, Su Che brought the latest news. Yashang Group's stock had begun to plummet. Sheng Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi and sat below the stage. He tilted his head. At times like this, we have to pay more attention to safety. When a dog is forced into a corner, it will jump over a wall. Chapter 960. Tang Yan's failure to catch Feng Chang was within his expectations. So, what would Feng Chang plan to do next? Feng Chang worked hard for the Song father and son, but in the end, he was wanted by the police. If it were him, he would not be willing to let it go. Moreover, Feng Chang was ruthless and merciless. If there was no news from Tang Yan for a day, then the people around him and the little thing would be in extreme danger. On the stage, Lu Zichen had already appeared in front of the public in his formal attire. However, what no one expected was that he was holding his son's hand. The exciting moment is here. Mu Qiqi grabbed Sheng Xiao's palm and was slightly sweating. She also hoped that in this world, good people would be rewarded. Under the spotlight, Lu Zichen faced his peers, the big shots of the industry, and the media. First he bowed sincerely. Then, he held the microphone and began to speak. Before I announce that I will take over the Lu Corporation, I would like to share a piece of good news with everyone. The police have arrested my father's murderer. I believe that my father's spirit in heaven will be able to rest in peace. Everyone must be very curious why I brought my son to the stage. Actually, just yesterday, he was tied to the rooftop of the school by my father's murderer. He narrowly escaped death. He's not even 3 years old. But as a father, I still harden my heart to tell him that as a business, we rely on our conscience. It's too shameless to use such despicable methods to deal with competitors. I want him to remember this grudge, not to remind him to take revenge, but to remember that when he grows up, he should never use such methods to hurt others. Do you remember? The little boy did not have stage fright in front of so many adults below the stage. He nodded obediently. Dad, I'll remember. Seeing Lu Zichen like this, Mu Qiqi could not help but sigh. In the future, his child would definitely be very outstanding. Then the little boy was picked up by his mother. At that moment, Lu Zichen looked at Sheng Xiao again. Before I start my inaugural speech, I want to thank someone CEO Sheng of Zhongting. I know that before our Lu Corporation, you have helped many companies in Jianchuan, including the former Lu Corporation and the Su Corporation. You have done many meaningful things, but I really didn't expect you to invest so much in the education industry. Thank you for your generosity. You allowed our Lu family to find a glimmer of hope when we were struggling at death's door. I'm really grateful to you. Sheng Xiao said nothing. Instead, he rose to his feet and bowed slightly in front of everyone. It was just a gesture. And because of Sheng Xiao's presence today, Lu Zichen's inaugural speech was appreciated and supported by many successful people. First, it was to educate Lu Zichen's character. Only such a person would have hope in the future. Secondly, it was because of Zhongting's support. The local education industry was half dead because of the impact of the Yashang Group. Now that everyone was working together, they would definitely drive those crooked enterprises out of Jianchuan. An upright person is pleasing to the eye. Hearing Mu Qiqi's sigh, Sheng Xiao tilted his head to look at her. It was because the Shen family's genes were strong that she had such a strong sense of right and wrong. Today, I officially announce that I have become the new chairman of the Lu Corporation. I hope that I can lead everyone to move forward fearlessly. With the warm applause, Lu Zichen's impassioned speech came to an end. Today was a good day, not only because of the rise of the Lu Corporation, but also because of the Song family's bad reputation. After the inaugural press conference, there was still a luncheon. However, Mu Qiqi was getting old. After standing for a long time, she wanted to lie down. When Sheng Xiao saw this, he couldn't help but hug her and say, "Let's go home. You're so happy today." "It's fine." Mu Qiqi shook her head. When others saw Sheng Xiao's protective and meticulous appearance, they really couldn't imagine that this person was still the crown prince of Huang, Yao, who killed decisively and did things based on his mood. What kind of charm did this little bride have to make such a person become so mature for her? "I'll help you sit by the side for a while. After I say goodbye to Lu Zichen, we'll leave." "Okay." Mu Qiqi quickly nodded. "Go ahead. I'll sit by myself." It was just a few steps, so Sheng Xiao didn't force her. He turned around and walked into the crowd. S3. Mu Qiqi also sat down on a comfortable chair. At that moment, the hotel waiter walked to Mu Qiqi's side with a note and said to her, "Miss Mu, someone asked me to give this to you." Mu Qiqi looked at the piece of paper warily. After confirming that there were no other traps, she reached out and picked it up. Then she saw a sentence written on it. "You will definitely pay the price." Mu Qiqi frowned and suddenly looked around the hall. She had a hunch that the so-called Uncle Rong was probably nearby. Otherwise, he wouldn't know that Sheng Xiao wasn't by her side. Of course, she wouldn't chase after him foolishly. Wouldn't that be playing into the enemy's hands? A moment later, Sheng Xiao returned to her side. Seeing her strange expression, he frowned. "What's your expression?" Mu Qiqi reached out and handed the note to him. "I think this Feng Chang is probably targeting me." Sheng Xiao tore the note and calmly helped Mu Qiqi up. "Let's go home. There's nothing to worry about." She was the weakest link between Sheng Xiao and Tang Yan, not only because she was a woman, but also because she was a pregnant woman who was about to give birth in 2 months. In addition, she was the one who discovered Shen Mei's matter, so it was only natural that Feng Chang would look for her. "Don't worry. Leave everything to me." Mu Qiqi shook her head. "I'm not worried. I just think that Feng Chang is very bold. He even dared to come to such a place. The police are looking for him everywhere. Whether he dares or not, no matter what he's doing, he won't be able to achieve his goal." Sheng Xiao held Mu Qiqi's hand and led her out of the hotel venue. "When we get home, I'll ask Fifth Aunt to prepare some calming tea for you. Then have a good rest. Don't think about anything else. Are you trying to coax me like a 3-year-old child?" Mu Qiqi was a little helpless. "Don't worry. My mental fortitude is very good. He's the one who has to live like a street rat now, not me. He's the one who should be afraid, not me. I have so many people around me to protect me. What's he to me?" Sheng Xiao had almost forgotten that this thing had always taken an unusual path. Chapter 961. She needs to be fed. Sheng Xiao nodded and pulled the blanket back up for her. Rest well at home. Xiao Xiao, take care of my aunt's safety for me. This was what Mu Qiqi was most worried about. She was afraid that Feng Chang's so-called making her regret was to touch the person closest to her. Got it. Sheng Xiao got up and left the bedroom. Even the little one could feel that Feng Chang's target was Su Zipei. How could he not think of it? In the short term, the best person for Feng Chang to get close to was Su Zipei. I really hope that I can catch Feng Chang as soon as possible and deal with the Song family as soon as possible. Mu Qiqi lay on the bed and felt extremely powerless. Now that she was dragging her heavy body, she probably wouldn't be able to help at all. After returning to Zhongting, Sheng Xiao immediately called Tang Yan. Is there any news of Feng Chang now? This person is good at disguising himself and knows anti-reconnaissance methods. He's a fierce bandit. I'm afraid it won't be easy to successfully arrest him. CEO Sheng, what do you think? At the event venue today, the little one received a warning from Feng Chang. He should have been at the scene at the time. You can bring someone to the hotel to look for clues. He sees Xiao Qi as a target for revenge. Right now, none of us know who he has set as his target. But, in order to make him focus on us, I'll go to Z City for a meeting in 2 days. I won't be in Jianchuan. Feng Chang will definitely seize this opportunity. When the time comes, we'll invite him into the trap. Sheng Xiao explained his plan. This method is a little risky, but Feng Chang will definitely come. You want Xiao Qi to be the bait? Tang Yin could not help but frown. No, find a female bodyguard with good skills to pretend to be her. However, Feng Chang might go to another place because the security system in the Banyan courtyard is too good. You should also arrange for people to ensure their safety. Where? Qiyer's aunt's house, the small villa. Sheng Xiao said extremely calmly. At the very least, his target is me. However, Su Che is by my side, so you don't have to worry. Let me think about it first and assess the danger. After all, it's a gamble with your safety. You can't joke about it. I'll give you an answer tomorrow. Tang Yin did not immediately agree to Sheng Xiao's suggestion. Although he knew that Sheng Xiao's plan was right, Feng Chang was too crazy. No matter what you plan, I will deliberately release the news that I'm going on a business trip tomorrow. I understand. After the call, Sheng Xiao immediately called his secretary to arrange the interview in Z City 2 days later. It would be best if he could find an opportunity to make it public. Su Che, who was standing beside Sheng Xiao, thought that Sheng Xiao's plan was crazy too. If you really let Feng Chang know your whereabouts, then his target must be you. I understand Feng Chang's mentality very well. He has been in the underworld for so many years, and he has always been like this. Su Che stood beside Sheng Xiao with his hands behind his back. Do you want to reconsider? Qi is about to give birth. I have to deal with Feng Chang before that. I deliberately revealed my whereabouts more thoroughly. You're playing with your life. Sheng Xiao smiled confidently. I believe in my brain, and I believe in your skills even more. Chapter 962. Are you afraid that you won't have the chance to get it back? Yen, I don't have any other requests. You just have to pay attention to your own safety. After all, you're already a father. You have to pay attention to the safety of the CEO, because he's about to become a father too. Don't worry. Since he was going to do it, he had to make sure that nothing went wrong. Therefore, before the next morning, Tang Yen had already replied to Sheng Xiao. We can go according to your plan, but the Song father and son will be released tomorrow morning. We have to think of a way to stall these two people. Then it's up to you. Sheng Xiao replied softly as he stood by the window in a black nightgown. I got it. Actually, it wasn't difficult. Since the Song father and son were related to the suspect, the police could find an excuse to protect the surveillance 24 hours a day to prevent Feng Chang from contacting them. In addition, the Yashang group was already troubled by internal and external troubles. He believed that the Song father and son would not be in the mood to do anything else, especially not to touch Sheng Xiao. But you have to settle down, Qiqi. You don't have to worry about that. After saying that, Sheng Xiao hung up the phone. When he turned around, He saw Muchichi sitting on the bed and looking at him. "Did I disturb you? Are you talking to Captain Tang on the phone again?" Muchichi asked in confusion. "Hurry up and rest. Don't make a big deal out of it because of me, okay?" Sheng Xiao returned to the bed and reached out to hug Muchichi. He saw that she had a pained expression. "What's wrong?" "Leg cramps." Muchichi blinked and said, "It's very easy to have problems in the middle and late stages of pregnancy." Without saying anything, Sheng Xiao grabbed her leg and gently massaged it. "Now you know how hard it is to be pregnant. Will you still give birth in the future?" "Of course," Muchichi replied heartlessly. "Think about how many brothers and sisters you have. We only have one child. When I came to play with you, the child was alone. You're so unreasonable." After Sheng Xiao finished massaging her calf, he said softly, "In 2 days, I'm going to Z City for a meeting. I wanted to bring you with me, but you're already pregnant, so it's better for you to stay at home." After Muchichi heard this, she immediately stopped smiling and asked seriously, "How many days?" "I'll be back the next day. Then go. Be careful." Muchichi was a sensitive person, and her mind would run wild. Who would believe that Sheng Xiao was really going on a business trip at such a critical moment? However, she would not stop him, because she knew Sheng Xiao. If she couldn't fight alongside him, she would be his shield, so that he wouldn't have to worry about anything. "Do you feel better now? Go to sleep. Okay, hug me tightly." In truth, both of them knew very well that Sheng Xiao knew that he could not hide from that thing, and he was certain that it would not stop him. In this world, the person who understood him the most was this thing, because in her heart, the Sheng Xiao she knew was never a coward. He would only do what he was confident in. At most, she would follow him through life and death. The next day, the father and son of the Song family, who had been locked up in the interrogation room for 24 hours, were released. As Xiaolong expected, the father and son immediately went to complain. However, Tang Yin did not care. He sent Old Chen and another policeman to follow the father and son. Chapter 963. This is entirely because CEO Song did not provide any effective information. We are also afraid that the suspect will come back and contact you. This is also to ensure your safety. Old Cheng thought about Tang Yan's instructions and said to the Song father and son seriously, "Call your Captain Tang over. Captain Tang still has to track down Feng Chang's whereabouts." "I'm sorry, I'll send you home now. Get in the car here. Also, our colleagues will protect you closely to ensure that you're safe before Feng Chang is caught." Old Cheng was not afraid of Song Buoji's threat at all. Song Buoji let go of Old Cheng and couldn't help but laugh. "You're good. Send the two of them home." These two people had almost caused him to lose his life. How could he let them feel comfortable so easily? He couldn't. The Song father and son had no choice but to get into the police car. However, both of them were filled with anger. When they got home and locked up in the living room, Song Jiang exploded. "You've gone too far. It's useless for you to be angry now. The Lu Corporation has already risen. Just yesterday, when we were locked up in the police station, Lu Zichen had already given his inaugural speech. Now that Yashang Group is facing internal and external troubles and scandals, are you still thinking about revenge?" Song Buoji was much calmer. Since he was home, he should take a good shower and continue playing the game. It couldn't be that others were playing well, but the father and son who started the war would be eliminated, right? "I'll contact your Uncle Rong. Are you going to make the mistake from 25 years ago again?" Song Buoji stopped him. Now that the police are looking for Uncle Rong, he won't let the police have an easy time. What role do you play in the middle? Let them solve it themselves. Isn't that the best outcome? Song Jiang seemed to have woken up from a dream as he looked at Song Buoji. From his son's plan, he was going to completely get rid of Feng Chang. "We're just in charge of reorganizing Yashang Group. Why bother with the police? Don't forget, your target is the Shin family." After hearing his son's words, Song Jiang almost thought that he had gone senile. "But aren't you tired of being followed at home by this group of jinxes every day? Tang Yin wants to delay us. It's good that Uncle Rong can't contact us and avoid our responsibility. Isn't that perfect? Song Jiang calmed down and nodded in satisfaction. You're finally not going against me. Stay at home and watch the show. After saying this, Song Buaji took off his coat and returned to his room. He hadn't showered for the whole night. As a germaphobe, he couldn't tolerate it at all. Song Jiang sat down on the chair. He suddenly felt that he was not as calm as his son during this period of time. Therefore, he planned to take advantage of the fact that the police were following him for the next 2 days to reflect on himself. On Tang Yan's side, he was still searching for Feng Chang and Jianchuan. However, this sly old man was too good at disguising himself. Therefore, there was no news of him ever since the arrest warrant was issued. Tang Yan agreed to Sheng Zhao's suggestion. He planned to ensure the safety of the Sheng family from 3 aspects. Whether it was Mu Qiqi, Su Zipei, or Sheng Xiao himself, Tang Yan would not give up on any of them. In the afternoon, Tang Yan personally went to Zhongting, and Sheng Xiao had just finished an important meeting. Sheng Zhao's secretary quickly called Mu Qiqi when she saw that. I need you to provide me with all of your itinerary and time points, and even who you're meeting with. I want to know everything clearly. Feng Chang can see through your arrangements. He'll only believe you if you send people to wait near the Banyan courtyard and the small villa. Our goal is to make Feng Chang think that we didn't expect him to come looking for me directly. Sheng Xiao did not intend to reveal his exact itinerary to Tang Yan. Sheng Xiao, Feng Chang is a ruthless bandit. Tang Yan was a little helpless as he tried to persuade Sheng Xiao. You want to use the greatest chance to make Feng Chang focus on you, right? From the beginning to the end, you didn't want Feng Chang to look for Xiao Qi and her aunt. You're so relaxed. How could Feng Chang not know that you're plotting against him? Even if you don't think about yourself, you have to think about Xiao Qi. I'm going to Z City. That's not your jurisdiction. It'll take time to mobilize police resources. Moreover, those police officers might not cooperate with you. They might alert the enemy, Sheng Xiao explained. Second, I have Su Che. Moreover, I'll deliberately design a few weak points and wait for Feng Chang to come to me. If I'm not confident, I won't tell you at all. Thirdly, no one is more concerned about Qi than I am. The matter with the Song family has been dragged on for too long. I don't want her to worry about being watched or being in danger when she's giving birth. Tang Yan opened his mouth, but he couldn't say anything. What if something happens to you? Have you thought about it? Hearing Tang Yan ask about what he was most worried about, Sheng Xiao leaned back and chuckled. I'm here to catch someone, not to die. But, before Tang Yan could finish his sentence, the door of Sheng Zhao's office was pushed open. Mu Qiqi walked to the 2 men with her bulging belly and sat down beside Sheng Xiao. Captain Tang, just listen to Xiao Zhao's arrangements, Mu Qiqi said to Tang Yan. No one can change his decision. Don't I still have you? Sheng Xiao pinched her palm and said. But I won't stop you. At most, if you're injured, I'll take care of you for the rest of your life. If you die, I'll be buried with you. When Mu Qiqi said this, she was very casual. To her, it was as if it was only natural. Tang Yan got up from the sofa at the right time and silently left Sheng Zhao's office. He thought that there was no way to continue the conversation today. After Sheng Xiao heard Mu Qiqi's words, he held her shoulder and turned her to face him. Who taught you that? Those words? No one taught me. That's what I'm planning, Mu Qiqi said firmly. I knew that Captain Tang would come to look for you today, so I came over in the morning. I'm in your staff area. I believe in you, Master Xiao. Believe me? Why did you run over here? Are you afraid that I'm hiding something from you? Sheng Xiao pulled her into his arms. When I come back, I'll clean up the Song family and give you a baby as a gift. Okay. Mu Qiqi nodded with a smile. Since you're already here, accompany me to work. I'll take you out for dinner tonight. As Mu Qiqi answered, she started to move her hands on Sheng Xiao. She was already 8 months pregnant, but she wasn't being honest. Sheng Zhao's eyes darkened. He couldn't help but ask the little thing. Do you want me to take a cold shower on such a cold day? Mu Qiqi pouted and immediately stopped moving. Chapter 964. At that moment downstairs, the cleaner who was sweeping the floor by the roadside would look at Zhongting's door from time to time. In the morning, he saw Mu Qiqi enter. In the evening, he saw Mu Qiqi and Sheng Xiao come out of Zhongting's door. After coming out of the Lu Corporation's inauguration conference, Feng Chang tied up a cleaner and stripped him of his clothes. He dressed himself up so dirty and smelly that no one could get close to him. He cleaned the streets around Zhongting, and also ate at the place where Zhongting's employees would eat. Although others would despise him when they saw him, no one would have thought that he was the criminal currently wanted by the police. Feng Chang. CEO Sheng is going to Z City for a meeting. I heard that he will bring a group of employees with him. I wonder who will be lucky enough to go. I heard that the snacks in Z City are delicious. When is CEO Sheng going? This isn't news. Why don't you know? The day after tomorrow morning. The employees of Zhongting were all talking about Sheng Zhao's business trip to Z City, but they did not expect that a cleaner beside them would overhear it. In fact, the employees of Zhongting were not so free. However, the higher-ups had requested that no matter where the employees ate, they had to spread the news. That was why this group of people were discussing such a problem on such an occasion. It turned out that Sheng Xiao was going on a business trip, but was there a need to make such a big fuss about it? Feng Chang sneered. He was more willing to believe that this was a trap set up by Sheng Xiao, and the police to lure him into the trap. Did they think that he, Feng Chang, was so easy to deceive? However, since Sheng Xiao was willing to lie to him, he might as well play with Sheng Xiao. He wanted Sheng Zhao's little bride to be buried with his Shenmei. After dinner, Sheng Xiao and Mu Qiqi went home together. However, they saw the lawyer waiting at home. Mu Qiqi looked at Sheng Xiao in confusion. Sheng Xiao carried her upstairs and asked the lawyer to follow her to the study for a discussion. CEO Sheng, this is the will you asked me to draft. Other than the shares of Zhongting and Huang Yao, all the movable and immovable assets under your name will be inherited by Madam. The lawyer placed the will in front of Sheng Xiao. What are you doing? Mu Qiqi suddenly frowned and looked at Sheng Xiao unhappily. Birth, old age, sickness and death are all very common. In fact, I've wanted to do this for a long time. I've made my will long ago, but I haven't brought it to justice yet. I believe that Mom and Dad won't have any objections if I leave everything to you. You have no objections? But I do. After saying that, Mu Qiqi turned to look at the lawyer and said loudly, I want to make a will too. What do you have to leave for me? Sheng Xiao asked, amused. Why don't I have it? I have this in my stomach. Mu Qiqi pointed at her stomach. If you don't make a will, the child won't call me Dad? Sheng Xiao stopped her from being willful. This is just a precaution. I could have done it behind your back, but now that I'm doing it in front of you, can't you just listen to me calmly? It was only then that Mu Qiqi calmed down. She looked at him with a look that said, Let's see what else you can say. I made such a big move just to show Feng Chang. Tomorrow the lawyer will go and notarize it. Feng Chang naturally thought that I went on a business trip with the determination to die. In order to make the scene realistic, I want to sign this will. Are you bluffing? Mu Qiqi obviously did not accept this reason. If you sign it, it'll count. Do you think I'm really stupid? If you want to sign it, sure. Write a supplementary statement. When will this will automatically become invalid? Otherwise, I'll take your son and run away. You can do as you see fit. When the lawyer heard Mu Qiqi's threatening and coquettish tone, he immediately smiled. CEO Sheng, why don't you listen to Madam? Even if you want to put on an act, there's still room for maneuver. All right then. Sheng Xiao nodded and wrote another supplementary statement. He signed and stamped it. Are you satisfied now? Are you so sure that Feng Chang will really fall for it? Mu Qiqi was unhappy when she saw the word will. This man was only in his early 30s. He could still harm people for at least 50 years. Why was he acting like an old man? Master Xiao, let me tell you. I've already made my attitude clear. Whether you live or die, I'll follow you. When the child is born, he will have so many elders to dote on him. I'm not afraid that he will have no parents. Sheng Xiao looked up at the lawyer and told him to take the will and leave quickly. The lawyer understood. He quickly packed up the documents and disappeared from the banyan courtyard. Only then did Sheng Xiao carry her and place her on his lap. Don't say that we'll live and die together. I don't have any plans to die. You have to live to 100 years old for me. Wouldn't that make me an old monster? Muchichi shook her head. Thinking of that scene, she felt a chill run down her spine. Also, what's the point of living so long? If you're here, I'll be here. If you're not, will I live to 100 years old and suffer? When the time comes, my children will despise me and send me to a nursing home. Let's see if your heart aches. Idiot. Sheng Xiao chuckled and sat on the chair with Muchichi in his arms. He did not move for a long time. The feeling of having both his wife and child in his arms was very special. After a long time, he whispered in Muchichi's ear in a low and seductive voice. When you're 22 years old, I'll immediately apply to recognize our marriage and change it to a new marriage certificate. Who cares? Muchichi slid down from Sheng Xiao's body. Sheng Xiao watched as she entered the bathroom with her belly propped up. The smile on his lips became even more obvious. This thing had made up her mind to be with him no matter what. Therefore, he could not let anything happen to her. He could not leave her alone and be sad. However, this thing did not ask him for an answer. If she left first, what would he do? He would not choose to commit suicide because the experience with this thing was enough for him to slowly recall for the rest of his life. Only when people were alive could they have feelings. If they were dead, there would really be nothing left. He greedily wanted to live. He wanted to feel more of the little things he had with this thing. Muchichi, who had entered the bathroom, leaned against the wall. She felt uncomfortable because she had never thought that Sheng Xiao would actually plan to make a will. The two of them had been together for so long. This was the first time she had deeply imagined what she would do if Sheng Xiao was no longer around. What she felt now was that she might be in so much pain that she would forget to breathe. It would be fine. So what if it was Feng Chang? Sheng Xiao had never lost before. This time he would never lose. Thinking of this, Muchichi felt a little better. Only then did she stick out her belly and pick up the toothpaste for pregnant women. However, she also realized that her hands were actually trembling. Chapter 965. That night, Muchichi lay in bed, but she could not fall asleep. Even if she fell asleep, her mouth would mumble something. No one knew what she was saying. Sheng Xiao woke up in the middle of the night and heard the little thing crying. He quickly turned on the wall lamp and shook Muchichi awake. Muchichi woke up with a start. There were still tears at the corners of her eyes. Did you have a nightmare? Sheng Xiao's voice was soft and hoarse. I'm fine. Muchichi shook her head and reached out to wipe away the tears at the corners of her eyes. Maybe the child in my stomach kicked me. Sheng Xiao sat up and hugged Muchichi in his arms. He rubbed her head and said, even if you want to find an excuse, find a decent one. Tell me the truth. What happened? Muchichi could not hold it in for a moment. Her voice was a little choked. I dreamed that I was dissecting Lu Zhao. After the autopsy, I realized that the person lying on the autopsy table was you. Xiao Xiao, can you not go? I'm really scared. Can you not go? After Sheng Xiao heard her words, he hugged her tighter and let her vent. I'm guilty of making a pregnant woman cry. However, you're just generous with your words. Why didn't you stop me from the beginning? Do my words matter? Muchichi raised her head and asked with a sobbing tone. I naturally can't listen to other people's words. I'm Sheng Xiao, but I naturally have to listen to you because you're Sheng Xiao's woman. Sheng Xiao hugged Muchichi and patted her back gently. Calling you an idiot isn't an insult at all. So you're not going? I'm not going, Sheng Xiao answered. Seeing Muchichi's sad look just now, Sheng Xiao's heart ached. He could do anything, but he could not see the little thing sad. Then what about Feng Chang? Don't take it for granted. Sheng Xiao hid her hand under the blanket and covered it. Then, he leaned over and kissed her forehead. I'll send someone else. Feng Chang will think of another way. Are you really not going? Don't tell me you're going to leave after I fall asleep? Sheng Xiao laughed when he heard that. Are you that insecure? Why don't you try pregnant? I know Feng Chang is not easy to deal with, but I also believe in Captain Tang's ability. I think you should also try to believe in Captain Tang. He will find Feng Chang's whereabouts. Do you believe that? Alright, let's not talk about this anymore. Can we sleep now? Sheng Xiao looked at the time. It was only 4 in the morning. Even if he wanted to inform Tang Yen that there was a change in the plan, he had to wait until tomorrow morning. Right? Do you mean what you say? When was it not? Sheng Xiao asked in return. Mu Qiqi pouted and thought about it for a moment. In the end, she obediently lay down. Don't blame her for being willful. Pregnant women were very fragile in the first place. She wanted to be Xiao Xiao's support, but she really felt that he did not have to go. It was not a multiple-choice question. While the couple was lying down to rest, Tang Yen had already been on duty for an hour. That was because the bodies of the sanitation workers had been discovered and reported to the police. Some people even claimed that they had a clue about Feng Chang, who was the foreman of the sanitation workers. It was a cold day, and it was shrouded in thick fog. The visibility was less than 50 meters. Tang Yen and the other 2 criminal police officers saw the bodies in the sanitation workers' rented house and learned about the situation from the foreman. Officer, the one who died is one of my workers. His name is Fan Linsheng. Usually, he's in charge of cleaning this area of Zhangping Road. But today, someone reported to me that Fan Linsheng wasn't at his post. The person cleaning Zhangping Road was a stranger. I quickly went to take a look and found that the person was actually a fugitive. Luckily, I was alert and didn't go up to call him. If I really angered those outlaws, I would have lost my life. In order to find the real Fan Linsheng, I rushed to his residence. When I kicked the door open, I found him soaked in a water tank. I was so scared that I immediately called the police. Captain Tang, Zhongting is nearby, the assisting police officer said to Tang Yen. That Feng Chang might be trying to find out more about CEO Sheng and waiting for an opportunity to make a move. That makes sense. It's easy to deal with him if he appears. I'm just afraid that he won't show up. Tang Yen looked at another innocent person with a gloomy expression. Thinking of this, Tang Yen continued to turn around and ask the foreman, after that, did you pay attention to the whereabouts of that wanted criminal? I saw him walking towards the north. I also have acquaintances in that area. If you want to ask around, I can help. That area is the slums, and the social relations in the surrounding area are complicated. However, I have 2 acquaintances who can speak to me in that area. Tang Yen looked at the cleaner's body and quickly said to one of his subordinates, call the forensic doctor to deal with it. I'll go. Okay, Captain Tang. How many more people does this Feng Chang want to harm? After Tang Yen said this, he ignored his fatigue and quickly led his men to follow the foreman to the slums. That area was indeed the most complicated area at the edge of Jianchuan. It was difficult to control the people there. Therefore, it was indeed a good choice for Feng Chang to hide here. Then, the foreman brought Tang Yen and the others into a billiard hall. Even in the early hours of the morning, there were still many young people playing here. Brother Chung, I want to ask you about something. The foreman walked up and said to the owner of the shop, you have a lot of connections. Can you let the neighbors on the street pay attention to this person? He just killed one of my workers, and he's a wanted criminal. The foreman handed over the photo. The other party was a big guy. He was tall and had a cigarette in his mouth. At a glance, it was obvious that he was not to be trifled with. However, when he spoke, he was very loyal. I hate those cowards who use their hands to vent their anger the most. If you have the ability, come and kill me. If you have news of him, call us. Tang Yen picked up a pen and paper on the counter, wrote down his phone number, and handed it to the owner of the billiard hall. Even if this kind of person doesn't want money, don't let me see him. Feng Chang was a fugitive, and now that he was full of revenge, he definitely had to come out to do some activities. Alright, that's all for today. I'll wait for your good news. Take care, officer. The The person called Brother Chung put away the note that Tang Yen handed over and said to Tang Yen and the man. However, it was this officer that made Tang Yen instantly frown. However, he did not show it. Soon, the few of them came out of the billiard hall. At this moment, Tang Yen said to the foreman, "Thank you for your hard work today." "It's fine, officer." After leaving the slums, Tang Yen got into the off-road vehicle. But he did not drive away immediately. Instead, he said to his subordinate, "Find the highest hotel nearby to stay." "Captain Tang, do you have any doubts?" Brother Ching seemed to know our identities the moment he arrived. So when the foreman spoke to him, he didn't express any doubts about our identities. After I handed him the note, "Do you remember what he called me?" Chapter 966. Tang Yen stayed in a nearby hotel. Of course, he did not dare to close his eyes. He held a pair of binoculars in his hand, but because of the fog, visibility was blocked, so he could only give up. Thinking of this, an idea suddenly flashed through his mind. It was a crazy idea. "Go and find me some makeup tools and a set of ragged clothes," Tang Yen instructed his subordinate. "Oh, okay," the subordinate quickly said, and turned to walk out of the hotel. It had been many years since he had disguised himself. He did not know if he could still deceive everyone like he did in the past. At that moment, it was already dawn. The sky was gradually turning blue. His subordinate returned to the hotel with a pile of women's things, although he did not know what Tang Yen was going to use them for. "Captain Tang, are you going to disguise yourself? Do you want me to find 2 makeup artists who know how to dress up?" "There's no need. Just wait outside. Help me find an old phone that can only be used to take pictures." Then, Tang Yen carried his pockets into the bathroom. The subordinate scratched his head. He really did not understand what Tang Yen was going to do. He could only go out again and go straight home to find the old phone that he had never used before. Then he returned to the hotel. At that moment, Tang Yen had already finished disguising himself. However, when he walked out of the bathroom, he gave his subordinate a fright. "Captain Tang Yu." At that moment, Tang Yan's appearance had completely changed. His clean and tidy face was now covered in scars, especially the burn on his left cheek to his cheekbone. It gave people goosebumps when they saw it. "Can you still recognize me?" Tang Yen put on his tattered clothes and hunched his back. Even an immortal would not be able to recognize him. The subordinate shook his head vigorously. "I can't recognize you at all. I didn't expect you to have such a skill, Captain Tang." "Cut the crap. I'll go down and get some information. You stay here and wait for further notice. Don't let Feng Chang have another chance to go out and hurt people." "But you're alone." The subordinate was a little worried about Tang Yan's safety. "No need. You just have to take care of yourself." With that, Tang Yen took the old, tattered phone and walked out of the hotel room. This was his old profession. He knew better than anyone how to protect himself. Not far from the billiard hall, an old man carrying a bucket of rancid water rode on a small tricycle and left the alley. The police had already found the body of the sanitation worker. Last night, Tang Yen, that annoying criminal police officer, also came to the billiard hall. However, the police definitely did not know that the owner of this billiard hall, Cheng Zhizhong, was his former underling. "So you want to capture him just like that? Dream on." Sheng Xiao was going to Z City with great fanfare. Did he think that he would follow him? He was too lazy to waste his energy. During the day, he would go out to gather information and buy some materials to make bombs. At night, he would stay in Ah Cheng's house and do some experiments. Of course, the 2 people he liked the most were the father and son of the Song family. He was on the wanted list for this father and son duo. But what about them? It was just that Yashang had suffered a little. However, with Song Buoji's ability, it was not difficult for him to live a peaceful life. Looking at him again, everything had been destroyed. It had been destroyed by the father, son, and the little bride. Now that the Jianchuan police refused to let him go, he had to let the Jianchuan police know how powerful he was. Even if he was going to die, he had to drag some people down with him. When the sky brightened, Jianchuan seemed to have returned to peace. After Sheng Xiao got up, he called Tang Yen. but found that Tang Yan's phone was turned off. Mu Qiqi was still in a coma, because she had expended too much of her emotions last night. Sheng Xiao put on his windbreaker and came out of the cloakroom. Seeing that the little thing still showed no signs of waking up, he went downstairs and instructed Fifth Aunt. When young madam wakes up, prepare some calming soup. When Mama Sheng saw him go downstairs, she asked him, I heard you're going to Z City? I'm not going. Your daughter-in-law won't allow it. Sheng Xiao directly dispelled Mama Sheng's thoughts. That Feng Chang is really a cruel fugitive. The police just reported that someone died because of Feng Chang, and it was a sanitation worker. Mama Sheng had reason to be so worried. Sheng Xiao suddenly understood why Tang Yan's phone was turned off. He should be at the scene of the crime. Don't worry, Mom. The vice president will take care of tomorrow's itinerary. Nothing will happen. Sheng Xiao comforted her, making Mama Sheng feel more at ease. That's good. Mama Sheng heaved a sigh of relief. Now that Qiqi is old, she can't do without you the most. Take more time to accompany her at home. No matter how important work is, it's not as important as your child. Don't worry, okay? Sheng Xiao patted his mother on the shoulder and left the house after breakfast. Su Che was already waiting at the door. When he saw Sheng Xiao, he immediately came up to him and said, I've already gone to find out about the sanitation workers. It was indeed Feng Chang who did it. Now the police are urgently investigating the case. I also heard that Captain Tang, in order to confirm Feng Chang's whereabouts, he even sneaked into the slums. I think we can completely trust Captain Tang on this matter. Sheng Xiao had never doubted Tang Yan's ability. He just wanted Feng Chang to be brought to justice one day. I'll let the vice president handle the matter of going to Z City tomorrow. After saying this, Sheng Xiao opened the door and got into the car. Su Che was stunned for a moment before he heaved a sigh of relief. It was not worth it for a person like Feng Chang. Then Madam should be the happiest. Was she happy? Sheng Xiao thought to himself, perhaps. She was so noisy in the first half of the night. After knowing that he wasn't going, she slept soundly and drooled for the second half of the night. Her emotions were so obvious on her face. She must be happy, right? Then about the will, does it not need to be notarized? Su Che asked as he drove. The will still needs to be notarized. However, it's changed to a gift, and there's no need to make a big deal out of it. I originally planned to give these things to the little one. In the future, I'll just be a worker and work for her. After Su Che heard this, he clicked his tongue in his heart. It was obvious how much he doted on his wife. Then we don't have to care about Feng Chang's case anymore, right? Later, go to the branch office and ask them what kind of assistance they need. As long as it's related expenses, Zhongting will bear all of them. Sheng Xiao lowered his head and answered as he looked at his phone. Understood. Su Che nodded. Because Feng Chang had killed another person, the father and son of the Song family were now very nervous. Although the police were searching for Feng Chang, no one knew when this ruthless bandit would drag the father and son into the water. Back then, Song Jiang had invited Feng Chang back to help him. However, who knew that Lu Zhao's case would turn out like this? Chapter 967. However, Old Cheng was not annoyed. He only replied, Old Mr. Song, are you afraid to go out? What do you think? There's a murderer outside. Song Jiang pointed outside the door. Then why did you ask him to help you back then? Old Cheng crossed his arms and asked Song Jiang. Are you regretting it now? Let me tell you, the police need evidence to speak. Old Cheng shrugged, indicating that he had already shut up. Song Jiang was so angry that his face turned red. But he could not do anything to the police. He could only curse, but other than that, he could not do anything else. Old Cheng did not want to waste time in the Song family. He wanted to follow the team and follow up on Feng Chang's case. However, his wish was soon fulfilled because Sheng Xiao canceled his trip to Z City. In other words, he did not need to delay the Song father and son any longer. Since that was the case, what was there to protect? Upon receiving the notice to retreat, Old Cheng immediately revealed an excited expression. Old Song, I know you don't want to see me, As you wish, my colleagues and I will immediately evacuate the Song family. Please forgive us for disturbing you for the past day and night. Hearing Old Cheng say that they were going to evacuate, Song Jiang was suddenly stunned. When the police were still here, although he was annoyed, at least he was safe. Now that the police were suddenly going to evacuate, if Feng Chang came back, who would be responsible for his and Song Buoji's safety? No, shouldn't the police give me an explanation? Why did you come and leave just like that? We want to gather all the police forces to arrest Feng Chang. If you have any news of Feng Chang, you can call the police immediately. Old Cheng put his hands on his waist and laughed. Then he led all the police officers and evacuated from the Song family. Song Jiang was a little angry. Are you playing with me? Song Buoji came out of the room and looked at his troublesome father. He was a little disappointed. You used to be quite good at pretending. You faced everything with a smile. What happened now? Feng Chang killed again. Song Jiang sat on the chair and slammed the table. I'm most afraid that he doesn't want to live and will drag us down with him. There are still bodyguards around. Now, you can only pray that the police solve the case as soon as possible. Song Buoji leaned on the table and sneered. If I had known that he was such a scourge, I wouldn't have suggested that you recruit him. While the father and son were talking in the living room, the family's helper suddenly rushed in and said, Master, young master, the water pipe in the house burst. We've already gotten workers to deal with it. However, the leakage is quite serious. I hope you can go upstairs to avoid it. After Song Jiang heard this, he kicked his chair. You can catch up with everything. You should ask Deputy Liang to protect you now. Song Buoji looked at his father with a smile, his teasing tone growing stronger. But there was nothing they could do. The water pipe had burst, and the sound of running water could be heard from the kitchen. The father and son could only hang their heads and go to the second floor. The servant immediately called for a worker to repair the water pipe. The worker was wearing a mask and a hat, and carrying a toolbox. After entering the Song family's villa, he didn't need to ask for directions at all, and directly found the Song family's kitchen. You're finally here. Hurry up and fix it. The house is flooded, and the main switch is broken. Okay, please go out first. The man put down the toolbox and said to the servant, Hurry up, the two male masters are angry upstairs. With that, the servant left the kitchen, and the plumber immediately took out a few things from the box. While he was repairing the water pipe, he also placed a package wrapped in black cloth in the cupboard. If it was ignited, the Song family would instantly turn into ruins, and the two scumbags upstairs would also be smashed into pieces. At 9 o'clock in the morning, Mu Qiqi finally woke up after a good night's sleep. She got up and saw that Sheng Xiao was not by her side, so she quickly went downstairs. Xiaoqi walked slowly. Mama Sheng saw her anxious expression and knew what she was looking for. She smiled helplessly. Eighth brother has gone to Zhongting. He won't go to Z City. Don't worry. After Mu Qiqi heard this, she heaved a sigh of relief. I had a nightmare last night, so I was scared. I've already educated eighth brother in the morning. Now that you're about to give birth, I asked him to spend more time at home with you. Mama Sheng helped Mu Qiqi sit down at the dining table. Before he left, he asked fifth aunt to prepare some calming soup for you. Drink it while it's hot. Mu Qiqi nodded. However, after breakfast, Feng Shanshan carried her son and went to the banyan courtyard. Why are you here? Mu Qiqi walked around the living room with her belly propped up. Tang Yin went out in the middle of the night and hasn't come back yet. I couldn't sit still at home, so I brought the child over to see you. Feng Shanshan explained as she shook her son. What happened now? Mu Qiqi's expression changed at once. Another sanitation worker died, Feng Shanshan said. It was done by Feng Chang. A passerby provided clues, so Tang Yin is still at the scene. After hearing this, Mu Qiqi did not know what to feel. On one hand, she was glad that she had stopped Sheng Xiao in time. On the other hand, she was filled with guilt for those innocent lives. You're still pregnant. Don't think about anything else. Mu Qiqi did not speak for a long time. She only looked up at Feng Shanshan and asked, I'm quite selfish, right? I didn't let Xiao Xiao take the risk, but I could only watch as Captain Tang searched for Feng Chang everywhere, and was in danger at any time. Feng Chang's target is me, not those innocent people. Although I don't know why he made me his #1 target, he just hates me. That's undeniable. Shanshan, do you blame me? You're a pregnant woman. What can you do? Moreover, Tang Yin makes a living. He's a police officer, and investigating cases is his mission and responsibility. Not to mention the danger this time. Every time he carries out a mission, he comes back injured. But this is his choice. Feng Shanshan chuckled and said, I don't blame you, nor do I blame him. I just feel that it's hard to bear. Mu Qiqi knew how worried she was about Sheng Xiao. Feng Shanshan was very worried about Tang Yin. It's precisely because it's hard to bear that I carried my son up here for a walk. After hearing this, Mu Qiqi felt even more guilty, because she felt that she should be the one to bear all of this. Don't think so much. The child in your womb is important. Shanshan, believe me. If possible, I will help Captain Tang solve the case at all costs. But I really don't have the strength to do so now. Chapter 968. You two children are just too affectionate. Mama Sheng could not continue to avoid them. She walked out of the room and sat beside Mu Qiqi. But think about it. Do they really need you to worry about them like this? Yes, the enemy is indeed ferocious. The outlaws are scary and intimidating. But you have to believe that they are not fighting alone. There are so many people waiting to catch the criminal. Why can't you have a little trust in each other? If you are too concerned about gains and losses, it will be easy for you to get hurt. Although I know that one of you has just given birth, and the other is about to give birth. If you want them to be free of distractions, then listen to mommy, and let the men do what they want. They have their own world to live in. Don't restrain yourselves just because of your emotions. Mommy is also worried about eighth brother. But there are some things that he needs to do. I also know that Shanshan has no other relatives in her family. But I also believe that you support Tang Yin from the bottom of your heart. Don't you? Don't be afraid, okay? To you they are unique, but to us they are just as important. Mama Sheng's words made the two women's eyes turn red. You have to know that you are already mothers. You are no longer the little girls who need to be coaxed and lied to. You have to shoulder the responsibility that belongs to you. Mommy. Mu Qiqi leaned into Mama Sheng's arms. I'm too selfish. Come, you come too. Mama Sheng reached out to Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan and hugged them like a normal mother. Be strong, okay? I have always believed in those two boys. Why don't you believe in your own eyes? Perhaps it was because they were not old enough and experienced enough. The two little women in Mama Sheng's arms were very sad. Especially when their men were facing danger. They always thought that they did not want them to be in danger. They believed in them. At this moment it was not easy to do so. Because there was only one person. If he was gone, he would be gone forever. Just as Mama Sheng said, the more worried they were, the more they would worry about gains and losses. Do you feel better? The two of them poked their heads out of Mama Sheng's arms and nodded at the same time. Since that's the case, let men do what they want to do. As long as they love you, let them bear their own responsibilities. Thinking of this, Feng Shanshan felt much more enlightened. A few years ago, when Tang Yin was undercover, he had been facing desperados. He was not afraid then, and he would not be afraid now. She was the one who had dug her own grave, and caused Qiqi to suffer as well. You too. Eighth brother isn't at the front line. Why are you so worried? How could he be scared so easily? I don't want Sheng Xiao to go to Z City, because I don't think it's necessary. If there's a need, I won't stop him, although I'm a mother. Mama Sheng pinched Mu Qiqi's nose. Silly girl. Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan looked at each other. Indeed, the two of them were really silly. Thank you, Mommy. You've untied the knot in our hearts. It's great to have you. Although your mother has passed away a long time ago, I've always treated you like my own daughter. There's no need to thank me. Since you've thought it through, go lie down and rest. No, I want to hug you for a while more. Mu Qiqi leaned on Mama Sheng and refused to let go. Women were emotional. So, no matter what men did, even if they knew that there would be no accidents, they would still worry. This was their nature. However, Mu Qiqi also thought about Mama Sheng's words carefully. A woman's excessive feelings were actually a burden to a man. It was a burden to both herself and the other party. So when Xiao Xiao returned home at night, she would tell him not to worry about her. He could do whatever he wanted. Since she had already sworn to follow him through life and death, what was there to be afraid of? Of course, the two men had never thought that their women were troublesome, especially Sheng Xiao. Mu Qiqi had been with him since she was 17. All these years, she had been devoted to him. Even now, she was still obsessed with him. He knew it very well. So he was used to taking care of the little one's feelings. As for Tang Yen, he was filled with guilt and gratitude towards Feng Shanshan for not being at home all day. However, he was a police officer, and he had to work hard to catch criminals. He had always thought that it was his blessing to be able to marry such a good woman. So many times he actually hoped that Feng Shanshan could be a little greedy. He could give his life to the country, but at the same time, he could also give it to her. It was noon. A homeless man was probably extremely hungry, so he found a bowl of instant noodles that no one wanted in the garbage and squatted on the street, wolfing it down. It was at the entrance of the billiard hall. The guard glanced at the homeless man and said in disdain, "Get lost. We're still doing business." The homeless man had only run a few meters away. At this moment, an old man on a tricycle stopped in front of the billiard hall and glanced at the homeless man. However, he did not suspect anything. Instead, he carried the bucket and entered the billiard hall again. This time, the security guard did not stop him. The homeless man only had one eye at the moment, so it was convenient for him to see people. However, he could recognize that it was the wanted criminal Feng Chang. Feng Chang had indeed concealed himself very well, but Tang Yen still recognized his characteristics. In the afternoon, the old man carried the bucket and left on his tricycle. The homeless man followed from afar, as if he was begging crazily, because this was Brother Cheng's territory. No one knew if there was anyone watching them. Therefore Tang Yen hid himself perfectly. On a tall building not far away, Old Chung was using binoculars to check the situation downstairs. Which one is Captain Tang in disguise? He looked at the faces of normal people, and did not find anyone who looked like Captain Tang. At this moment, the young policeman laughed. "It's that homeless man." Old Chung took a closer look and immediately felt a little nauseous. Captain Tang is too reckless. Even if junior sister Shanshan came, she wouldn't be able to recognize him, much less me. When Captain Tang first came out, I was also shocked. "Are you sure that Feng Chang is in that billiard hall?" Old Chung continued to ask. "Yes." "Then why didn't you apply for an operation?" Old Chung did not understand. If he had known earlier, he would not have protected the Song father and son, and missed so many details of the case. Captain Tang said that we have to wait for further confirmation. Moreover, this place is Feng Chang's territory. Once he runs into the crowd, we won't be able to catch him at all. Instead, we'll alert the enemy. We'll wait for Captain Tang to have a meeting with us tonight. Chapter 969. Throughout the day, the old man who poured the rancid water came in and out of the billiard hall 3 times. Because his identity was too inconspicuous, no one paid attention to him. However, Tang Yen could see it clearly, so Tang Yen suspected that there was something in the old man's oil barrel. He came in and out so frequently to transport something, and if he wanted to figure out what it was, Tang Yen thought that he could put on a good show, because his persona was that of a tramp. The last time he saw Feng Chang coming out of the billiard hall, Tang Yen deliberately went forward and grabbed Feng Chang's tricycle. He pretended to be hungry and rushed up to snatch the barrel from the tricycle. Feng Chang turned around and saw this. He pushed Tang Yen away and kicked him a few times. "Stupid beggar." After saying that, he put the oil barrel back on the tricycle and looked around. After making sure that no one was paying attention, he rode the tricycle again and left through the alley. Tang Yen lay on the ground and groaned. Although he could not see what was in the small barrel, he smelled it. It was the smell of gunpowder. At 6:30 in the evening, Tang Yin first rushed back to the hotel to take a shower and wash off his sloppiness. Then, he returned to the branch office for a meeting with all his colleagues. I've found Feng Chang's whereabouts, but this person is very cunning. He's hiding in the slums, pretending to be an old man who pours rancid water. He also has a powerful informant backing him up. Cheng Zhizhong, the owner of the billiard hall in the slums, is also the tacit boss of this area. He has a lot of connections and many informants. In a place where social relations are extremely complicated, this brother Cheng is very popular. He can almost summon 100 people. What's even more frightening is that this brother Cheng and Feng Chang have a very close relationship. According to my observation, Feng Chang is now living in this brother Cheng's billiard hall. I've been a tramp in the slums for the whole day. From 7 in the morning to 6 in the evening, Feng Chang went in and out of the billiard hall 4 times. That's not counting the number of times he went out before I arrived. Every time he went out, he brought a few oil barrels with him. I pretended to be hungry and went to investigate. There was a pungent smell of gunpowder inside. So the difficulties we face now are: first, the slums are brother Cheng's world. If we want to catch Feng Chang in the slums, we have almost no chance of winning. Second, where did the things that Feng Chang transported go? Thirdly, what does he want to do? Tang Yen and all the police officers in the station were having a meeting. At this time, Feng Shanshan carried her son and delivered supper to the people at the police station. When Tang Yen saw Feng Shanshan, he immediately stopped the meeting and looked at her. His voice immediately became gentle. "Why are you here?" Everyone looked at the door and saw Feng Shanshan holding the baby. They immediately joined in the fun excitedly. "Oh my god, this is Captain Tang's son. So cute. Her cheeks are bright red. Super cute. Captain Tang, I want a hug. I want a hug." Rest for 5 minutes. The meeting had been going on for a long time, and no one had a clue. Now that Feng Shanshan had brought supper, the group of hungry wolves could not hold it in anymore. They quickly thanked her and happily went to the dining area with their lunch boxes. His son was surrounded by a group of men, but Tang Yin could still whisper to Feng Shanshan, "It's such a cold day. Be careful not to catch a cold. You haven't returned home since early in the morning. I just wanted to come and see you. You're not out of confinement yet. You can't be exposed to the wind like this. Besides, the child is still young. I'm not afraid of being wrapped like this." Feng Shanshan held Tang Yan's hand and said, "If you're too tired, remember to rest. I'll take good care of myself and the child. Don't worry, Fifth Aunt and the confinement nanny are very careful." When Tang Yan heard this, he only felt guilty. He kissed Feng Shanshan's forehead. "It's so good to have you. Catch Feng Chang well. I'll leave with my son now." Feng Shanshan had been educated by Mama Sheng during the day at the Banyan courtyard, so she could understand this man's hardships and difficulties. He was not only her husband and the father of her son, but also the people's police. "I'll go home later." Feng Shanshan smiled. Indeed, when you understood a person, there would not be so much resentment and anger in your heart. You would have more room to accommodate love. Then, she took the child from her senior brother's hands. Looking at her back as she left, Tang Yan's eyes couldn't help but turn red. When old Cheng saw this, he immediately patted his shoulder and said, "I'll send junior sister off. Captain Tang, continue with the meeting. I'll be back soon." "Thank you. Be careful. Junior sister is a good woman. Captain Tang, you have to cherish her." Old Cheng had seen all kinds of things, but this was the first time he had seen such a sensible person. "I'll be back soon." Tang Yen put away his emotions because he had to come up with a plan to arrest Feng Chang as soon as possible. Only then could he go home and sleep in peace. Not far from the door, old Cheng caught up with Feng Shanshan. He drove his car and sent Feng Shanshan home. "Junior sister, I'm sorry. As a police officer, I'm quite helpless." Captain Tang went out to the field at 3 in the morning. He was undercover for the whole day today. He only ate a normal meal during the meeting. "I don't blame him," Feng Shanshan said. She knew that as long as Tang Yen was at home, he would be a dedicated husband. In the middle of the night, when her son was hungry and crying, as long as he heard it, he would definitely be the one to get up. After this case is over, I hope the higher-ups can give Captain Tang a good vacation. As long as Tang Yin could rest normally, Feng Shanshan would be satisfied. She did not necessarily need a vacation. However, on the way back, Mu Qiqi called from the banyan courtyard. Her tone was very urgent. Feng Shanshan, is that you? Of course it's me. Who else could it be? On the other end of the phone, Mu Qiqi suddenly heaved a sigh of relief. I thought you were killed in the explosion. Aren't you at home? What happened? Your house exploded. Now the firefighters are here. Where are you? Feng Shanshan thought of the explosion that Mu Qiqi mentioned, and immediately felt a chill run down her spine. If she hadn't brought her son out to see Tang Yin, perhaps by now. I'm on my way back. I brought my child to the police station to deliver supper. Come back quickly and call Captain Tang. After saying that, Mu Qiqi hung up. Feng Shanshan put down her phone and quickly looked at old Cheng. Senior brother Cheng, I might have to turn around and go back to the police station. Something happened at my house. When old Cheng heard that, his brows furrowed, but he reacted quickly and immediately turned around. Feng Chang had actually sent a copy of the gunpowder that Tang Yin had found during the day to Tang Yin's house. A moment later, Tang Yin saw old Cheng, and old Cheng turn around and frown. Qiqi called just now and said that there was an explosion at home. Chapter 970. There was no need to think about it. This was Feng Chang's revenge, or rather a warning. After Tang Yin heard that, he hugged Feng Shanshan and his son tightly. Fortunately, you came to deliver supper. Fortunately, it's all thanks to Aunt Sheng's guidance this morning. I didn't believe that Xiao Qi was my benefactor before, but now I do. Tang Yin hugged her, and thought of how Feng Chang had gone in and out several times today to transport that thing. Therefore, it was definitely not only his family that had been given explosives. No one had thought that this bandit would be so cruel. Old Cheng, take the photo to the traffic control department immediately, and get the surveillance footage of Feng Chang's activities. I was afraid of alerting the enemy during the day, so I couldn't follow him. Call me as soon as you have any news. The rest of you, follow me to the police station. However, the location of this field trip was a little special. It was his own home. He had promised to go home and rest at night, but he didn't expect it to be in such a way. Also, the Song family might have been sent this thing. Two of you go and confirm it. No one could predict how crazy Feng Chang was. Your speed would never be able to keep up with his movements. At 9 o'clock at night, the servants of the Song family were boiling water in the kitchen. After someone came to clean the pipes during the day, she kept feeling that there was a strange smell in the kitchen, but after searching around, she didn't find anything suspicious. Auntie, the water I asked for isn't ready yet? Song Buoji, who was wearing his home clothes, walked downstairs with his hands in his pockets. When the servant saw it, she immediately smiled and said, Young master, it's done. All right, you can get off work now, Song Buoji said as he walked toward the stove. The servant took off her apron and was about to get off work when she heard the doorbell ring. The helper quickly went to open the door and saw two police officers standing in front of her. Officers, what can I do for you? Did any strange people come to your house today? Or did you receive any strange packages? The police asked. Other than the plumber, no other strangers have come in, the servant answered after thinking for a while. Where did he move? Can you bring us there to have a look? After hearing the police's words, the servant turned to look at Song Buoji awkwardly. Song Buoji held his coffee cup and looked very relaxed. They only evacuated at noon, and now they're back to protect us. Song Buoji, don't be so cheeky with me. Now that Feng Chang has sent explosives to his enemies, if you don't want to be torn to pieces, you'd better cooperate and put away your young master airs. We're very busy too. The two policemen did not give Song Buoji any face. After saying that, they were about to force their way into the Song family's home, but they were stopped by Song Buoji. Even if you are the police, you can't trespass on private property, right? Feng Chang didn't send anything here. You can go back. The two policemen looked at each other. They really couldn't stand Song Buoji's ignorance. All right, we've already been here. but you're the one who didn't cooperate. If something happens, don't blame us for not reminding you." After that, the two of them closed the door. Song Buoji smiled coldly and leaned against the door frame to drink his coffee. However, before the two policemen could walk far, they heard a loud bang. They turned around and saw that the entire villa had been engulfed in a sea of fire. Although the father and son of the Song family deserved it, as a policeman, saving lives and helping the wounded was their mission. Therefore, they called the ambulance while running to the fire. 8 o'clock in the evening, Tang Yin brought the group of people to his home. However, the small villa that was originally in good condition had now turned into ruins. The fire brigade had already extinguished the fire, so the police were going to start an investigation immediately. Taking this opportunity, Tang Yin sent Feng Shanshan to the banyan courtyard. When Mu Qiqi saw Feng Shanshan's face, her eyes turned red. "Do you know how scared I was when I heard the loud noise? I had a premonition that something had happened down there. I brought the child to the branch office to deliver supper to Tang Yin." Feng Shanshan reached out and hugged Mu Qiqi. "To be precise, it was Auntie's words that enlightened me and saved us." Feng Shanshan turned her gaze to Mama Sheng. "This is your own blessing," Mama Sheng replied as she hugged the child. "I might have to trouble Auntie to take in my wife and child tonight. It's a mess outside now. I have to go out and clean up the mess first." "It's no trouble at all. Just stay." Mama Sheng liked lively scenes. Moreover, Feng Shanshan's child was so cute that she could hug him. "Where's CEO Sheng? Hasn't he gone home yet?" Tang Yin asked Mu Qiqi before leaving. Since Feng Chang was his enemy, Sheng Xiao should also be one of his targets. "He's still in a meeting, but I've already called him. He's on the way back," Mu Qiqi answered. Actually, according to normal times, Sheng Xiao would only be home in half an hour. "Call him and tell him to do his best to investigate Zhongting's safety hazards. I received a call from my subordinate on the way here just now. The Song family was not spared." "What about the Song father and son? They've been sent to the hospital." After Tang Yin said that, he gave Feng Shanshan a few more instructions. Then, he quickly disappeared from the entrance of the banyan courtyard. Mu Qiqi had a premonition that tonight, there might be a life-and-death battle with Feng Chang. As for the Song father and son, it was best if they did not die. It would be better if they were half dead. On the other side, Sheng Xiao had already received the news of the explosion while he was still in the meeting. Su Che rarely entered the door and interrupted his meeting on such occasions. The seriousness of the matter was obvious. Therefore, from the moment something happened to Tang Yan's family, Sheng Xiao had already asked Su Che and all the employees of Zhongting to stop what they were doing and immediately conduct a comprehensive safety check. Feng Chang was a lunatic, so he had to retaliate in a crazy way. As of 8:30 p.m., Zhongting did not find anything unusual. Thinking about it, Feng Chang probably did not have time to deal with Zhongting. Of course, Sheng Xiao did not leave out the Sheng family. On Huang Yao's side, Sheng Kai used the same method to completely eliminate the safety hazards with his subordinates. For now, everything was normal. It looked like tonight was destined to be a sleepless night. Fortunately, everything was fine at home. Sheng Xiao stayed in the office and did not get up to go home. In fact, when he was talking to the little one just now, he had already said that he was on the way. "President, it's time to go. Su Che, do you believe it? I have a feeling that Feng Chang will come here tonight." Sheng Xiao turned his head and said to Su Che. "Maybe I've been with the little one for too long, and I've been infected by her magical power." Chapter 971. Now there had been 2 explosions in Jianchuan, and one of them was the police's residence. When the chief found out, he flew into a rage and applied for a multi-department joint operation overnight, just to arrest Feng Chang. While Tang Yin was returning to Jianchuan for a meeting, plainclothes guards were arranged outside the billiard hall. As long as they found out about Feng Chang's movements, they would immediately report it. Not only that, but the police also decided to arrest Feng Chang after midnight to minimize the threat to the innocent people. However, Feng Chang had created so many big cases. He already knew that the police would definitely do their best to arrest him this time. However, he had blown up Tang Yan's home and the Song family's home. It was worth it, but he still wanted to blow up Zhongting's building. Sheng Xiao was right. Feng Chang's final destination was Zhongting. Relying on his familiarity with the surrounding terrain, he had already left the billiard hall with the guests when night fell. At this moment, he was no longer in the billiard hall. He had not been able to see through Tang Yan's disguise for the whole day, but the few plainclothes policemen were too lousy. They let him know that his hiding place had been exposed. A bunch of idiots. You want to catch me? No way. At this moment, Feng Chang had transformed into a hunchbacked old man who was obsessed with walking his bird and had blended into the police's line of sight. At the garbage recycling station not far away, the big guys that he had transported during the day were now hiding in the piles of garbage. Zhongting's security was very strict. This was the conclusion that Feng Chang had come to after lurking around for a few days. Tonight, he wanted to put these big guys on each floor of Zhongting and wait until tomorrow morning to see the building collapse and human flesh flying everywhere. That scene would definitely be spectacular. He had carefully studied Zhongting's security system. The cameras covered almost all the areas except for one place, and that was the bathroom on each floor. In addition, he knew where Zhongting's surveillance system was located. At 10 o'clock in the evening, the people on the streets gradually thinned, and the slums also returned to peace. Tang Yan divided his men into 3 groups. One group surrounded the billiard hall. The other group was responsible for wearing plain clothes and going in to cause trouble, and the last group was to intercept the exits outside the billiard hall. When the time was up, Tang Yan gave the order to take action. A few plainclothes guards who pretended to cause trouble immediately entered the billiard hall to cause trouble for Brother Chung. Who is the boss here? Come out. Did my brother get beaten up here today? A few plainclothes officers aggressively entered the billiard hall. Brother Chung immediately stood up from the cashier and walked in front of them. What's all this fuss about? How dare you cause trouble at Brother Cheng's place? My brother was beaten. Both sides began to push and shove. You want to fight? The two sides quickly got into a physical conflict. 2 of the plainclothes even rushed into the billiard hall, but they did not find any trace of Feng Chang. Taking advantage of the chaos, one of the policemen carefully searched all the rooms in the billiard hall, including the room where the gunpowder was hidden. However, he did not find Feng Chang. Then the young policeman sent a message to Tang Yan. Captain Tang, something's not right. Feng Chang has already run away. Capture Cheng Zhizhong for interrogation. Tang Yan ordered immediately. Then, a few plainclothes officers took out their IDs and held Cheng Zhizhong. It's a cop. Where did Feng Chang go? Old Cheng took the lead and punched Cheng Zhizhong in the stomach. Do policemen like to hit people? Cheng Zhizhong spat disdainfully. To tell you the truth, you're too inexperienced to catch Big Brother. He just left with the guests. What are you policemen doing? Can't you tell? Besides, you can't catch up to him at all. He's gone to do something big. Interrogating Cheng Zhizhong at this time would definitely not yield any results. Tang Yan took a deep breath and took out his phone. At the same time, he said to old Cheng, bring him back to the station. Then he dialed Sheng Xiao's number. CEO Sheng, are you home? I'm still in Zhongting. Sheng Xiao sat in the dark office and answered in a low voice. But Feng Chang is here too. He's hacking into our security system now. I'm watching a good show. I'll be right there. Zhongting's security system was personally modified by a professional American security team. It was divided into 2 parts. The daily control room was on the 3rd floor underground, while the main system was on the 12th floor. Feng Chang thought that he had found Zhongting's weakness, but he did not expect that his every move was under Sheng Xiao's surveillance. After cutting off all the alarm systems, Feng Chang began to move things from the truck downstairs to Zhongting's corridor like a diligent bee. There was a small medicine bag every 2 floors, and it was placed in the fire box. If one did not pay attention, no one would be able to discover it. And every time he went to a floor, Su Che would follow behind him and take away the explosives he had put down. This old man was really energetic. Sheng Xiao did not even see how he opened the door of the surveillance room. He really had some tricks up his sleeve. Sheng Xiao was watching the old man work diligently when the little one called. It's 10 o'clock. You're not home yet. Aren't you going home tonight? I have to go back, but I have to do my best to investigate Zhongting's security problems tonight, so it's a waste of time. You sleep first. Mu Qiqi was silent for a few seconds. She seemed to sigh and said again, I know you're lying to me. Zhongting's employees have already gotten off work. Sheng Xiao facepalmed. He had almost forgotten that the traitor, the secretary, was in the office. Cheer. Actually, you don't have to lie to me. I won't stop you from going out to do things. Just tell me when you can go home. Mu Qiqi's voice was very calm. Although I don't know what kind of situation you're in at Zhongting, I hope you can tell me the truth no matter what. 2 hours. Look at the time. I'll definitely go home. With that, Sheng Xiao hung up. Feng Chang suddenly raised his head and seemed to have noticed the surveillance cameras that were still working. He seemed to have understood something. He did not go to the next floor, but quickly entered the office area. Su Che quickly followed, but Feng Chang, who was hiding behind the door, discovered him. The two of them were in the dark, but they started fighting. Feng Chang was no match for Su Che, but he was extremely cunning. Knowing that he could not win, he immediately hid under the desk. Tang Yin also rushed to Zhongting and called Sheng Xiao again. The entire building was pitch black. Where was Sheng Xiao now? Captain Tang, you're here too. The surveillance room on the 12th floor. The password is 1224. After you enter, restart the security system, and you'll be able to see where Feng Chang is. How are you now? I'm at the top floor. Su Che is chasing after Feng Chang. Tell Su Che to be careful. Feng Chang might be carrying a homemade weapon. With that, Tang Yin hung up the phone, pulled out his gun, and entered the building. Chapter 972. Su Che chased after Feng Chang, but Feng Chang was too cunning. He used all his previous experience in the underworld, causing Su Che to suffer a lot. Su Che decided to use a little trick. He pretended not to be able to find Feng Chang, and turned to walk toward the corridor. He pretended to be upstairs, but in fact he was hiding at the corner of the stairs. However, he did not expect Tang Yin to restart the security system, and the entire building of Zhongting was lit up. Su Che looked forward, and saw that Feng Chang was already holding a gun. He was one step ahead of him, and aimed it at his head. Kid, let's see if your hand or my gun is faster. Take me to Sheng Xiao. Su Che raised his hand, and was about to walk down the stairs, but Feng Chang gestured for him not to move. Just take the stairs. Feng Chang was extremely cautious. He knew that if he took the elevator, he might be set up. So he asked Su Che to take the stairs. Behave yourself. Don't turn around. Otherwise I'll shoot you in the head. Su Che looked at Feng Chang from the corner of his eyes. At the moment, he had no choice but to walk step by step toward the top floor. Sheng Xiao had already seen the scene of Feng Chang pointing a gun at Su Che from the surveillance cameras. At that moment, Tang Yin had already arrived at his office. Tang Yin put away his gun and walked to Sheng Xiao's side. Su Che has been kidnapped. Feng Chang should be coming up to the top floor to see me. I'll go from behind and stop him, Tang Yin said as he looked at the surveillance cameras. He paid attention to the number of floors and said to Sheng Xiao, let's keep talking. Feng Chang is very wary. When you go downstairs or block him, there will definitely be footsteps. I'll go down with you and confuse him. There are 8 elevators in Zhongting. I'll press the button to stop on each floor and disturb Feng Chang. You act according to the situation. Okay. Tang Yin saw Sheng Xiao follow him out of the office, and the two of them split up. At that moment, Su Che and Feng Chang were still 12 floors away from the top floor. With their speed, Tang Yin went down to the 8th floor and waited at the entrance of the corridor. However, perhaps because he sensed that there would be a lot of danger after going up, Feng Chang suddenly changed his mind and asked Su Che, did you bring your phone? Yes, Su Che answered calmly. Take it out and call your big CEO. Tell him where we are and ask him to come down and pick you up. We'll wait for him here. Feng Chang leaned against the wall and did not move. He looked up and down, occupying the most advantageous position. Su Che put down his right hand and took out his phone from his pocket. Then he dialed Sheng Zhao's number in front of Feng Chang. Hello, Su Che. President, I was kidnapped by Feng Chang. I'm on the 27th floor now. Feng Chang wants to see you, Su Che said calmly to Sheng Zhao on the other end of the phone. I'll be right there. With that, Sheng Zhao hung up. Are you satisfied now? Su Che hung up the phone and put it back into his pocket. What do you want? Settle the score with Shen Mei. She's my daughter, Feng Chang said coldly. Then you should go to the police station. Don't think that I don't know that the person who provided the police with the clues is Zhongting's little bride. Feng Chang said with a gangster's expression. Anyone who provokes me won't have an easy time. Soon, the sound of someone coming down the stairs could be heard. The atmosphere suddenly became tense. However, Feng Chang was very satisfied. His eyes flickered with pride. What big shot of Jianchuan! You still have to listen to my orders obediently. Don't worry. In a while I'll send the two of you to hell. Behind the two of them, Tang Yen had already quietly peeked his head out. However, the position that Feng Chang occupied was too advantageous to him. Therefore, Tang Yen could not show himself, let alone approach. A moment later, Sheng Zhao, who was wearing a windbreaker, walked down the stairs. When he saw such a scene, he did not panic at all. Raise your hands. When Feng Chang saw Sheng Zhao, he shouted sternly. Otherwise, I'll make your little assistant's brain explode. You've been hiding for so many days. I thought you were going to fly a plane and crash it into Zhongting's building. I didn't expect you to be so shabby. Sheng Zhao stood beside Su Che, but he did not raise his hand. Cut the crap. Since you're going to shoot in the end, why should I raise my hand? Sheng Zhao asked Feng Chang. Don't think that I won't dare to shoot. Listen, the elevator outside has been opening and closing. Many police officers have come. At this moment, they're searching for you everywhere. If you don't shoot and kill us, how are you going to break even? Sheng Zhao leaned against the armrest and asked Feng Chang. Moreover, if you hesitate for one more second, the police will have a chance to find you. Sheng Zhao, don't lie to me. Do you think I don't know your tricks? You're not qualified to provoke me and make me lose my composure. Since you've tricked me down, you have to do something, right? Am I wrong? You don't plan to kill us? I told you my goal is your woman. As long as you hand over your woman, perhaps I can let you go. Feng Chang held the gun and walked between the two of them. Then you'd better take my life. Be more direct. Sheng Zhao answered Feng Chang without hesitation. Feng Chang was distracted by Sheng Zhao and had already neglected the surveillance downstairs. At that moment, Sheng Zhao suddenly kicked Su Che's foot. Feng Chang immediately roared, Don't move. Do you still want your life? At this critical moment, Tang Yen took a step up the stairs and fired a shot at Feng Chang's arm. He heard the sound of the gun falling to the ground. Feng Chang wanted to reach out to pick it up, but Sheng Zhao kicked him downstairs. Feng Chang was shocked. He turned around and wanted to escape, but Tang Yen pounced on him and pressed him to the ground. Then, Tang Yen took out the shackles from his pants pocket and cuffed Feng Chang. I'll bring you to justice now, you murderous demon. Officer Tang, do you think you've won? With that, Feng Chang took out a switch from his pocket. They heard a beep and were shocked. They should have known that this old thing had something hidden on him. At that moment, it was 11:30 p.m. There was still half an hour before Sheng Zhao's return time. Mu Qiqi looked at the time anxiously as she paced back and forth in the living room until Su Che called. He told her that Sheng Zhao, Tang Yen, and herself were all in the hospital. When Mu Qiqi heard this, her expression changed. She quickly begged Papa Sheng. Dad, send us to the hospital. Xiao Xiao is in the hospital. Seeing that Mu Qiqi was about to cry, Papa Sheng could not refuse. Let's go. Go upstairs and get dressed first. Mu Qiqi was so anxious that her clothes were in a mess. Then she quickly went downstairs. Feng Shanshan handed the child to Mama Sheng and followed her to the hospital. The feelings of the two women were complicated. Chapter 973. Soon, the two of them were sent to the hospital. It was fine for Feng Shanshan. After all, she had already given birth and her body was light. However, Mu Qiqi was heavy to begin with. She had to force herself to walk, which scared Papa Sheng. Xiaoqi, slow down. Mu Qiqi looked for the emergency department and the emergency ward. Finally, she saw the three men in the doctor's office. At that moment, the doctor was bandaging the wound on the back of Sheng Zhao's hand. Tang Yin and Su Che had also suffered some minor injuries, but none of them were serious. However, Feng Chang had exploded on the spot. His body was a bloody mess. At the moment of the explosion, Tang Yin had thrown Feng Chang down the stairs. Therefore, although there had been an explosion, the three of them were not affected. Sob, I finally found you. Mu Qiqi immediately pounced on him. Her body went limp, and she almost knelt in front of Sheng Xiao. Sheng Xiao quickly used his injured hand to catch her. Why are you in such a hurry? We're already in the hospital. How can I not be anxious? Mu Qiqi held her stomach and started crying. I thought you were sent to the operating theater, and were being resuscitated. Sheng Xiao turned to look at Su Che. Su Che turned to look at the door. He was also very innocent, okay? Because his young madam did not give him a chance to say the next sentence. This is the only injury. Sheng Xiao freed one of his hands to show her. Hurry up and get up. You're so heavy. Mu Qiqi seemed worried. She checked her body again and nodded. It's fine. It's really fine. It turned out that when things were in chaos, they would cry like a child. Thinking of this, Sheng Xiao hugged her and walked out of the doctor's office. Let's go home. But your injury? Feng Shanshan stood at the door. Seeing that they could still talk and laugh, she felt that this was a dream. Tang Yin turned around and saw Feng Shanshan behind him. He smiled at her forcefully and gestured to her that his foot was only slightly injured. However, Feng Shanshan still pounced on him and hit and scolded him. Wasn't this pair a little too mushy? Now Su Che was the only one left in the office. The doctor on duty crossed his arms and looked at him. How old are you? Why are you fighting like those two just now? Don't your parents care? Su Che looked around and confirmed that the doctor was talking about him. Then he took out his identification and handed it to the doctor. When the female doctor saw this, she immediately felt a little embarrassed. I couldn't tell at all. You're really good at retaining your youthful looks. Hee. You have a girlfriend coming to pick you up too? Su Che shook his head and handed his hand to the doctor. Bandage it for me. Okay. The female doctor asked Su Che to sit down. After the wounds were bandaged, the few of them left the hospital. Because Tang Yin still had to deal with the aftermath, he handed Feng Shanshan over to Mu Qiqi and Mu Qiqi. I'll come pick them up tomorrow morning. There were tears in Feng Shanshan's eyes. She quickly said, I'll go with you. The baby will look for you when he's hungry. Be obedient. Now that Feng Chang is dead, the danger has been resolved. Tang Yin insisted on not letting her follow. Feng Shanshan had no choice but to give up. It was just that she might not be able to see this man again tonight. Zhongting exploded and Feng Chang died. The police were doing further work to deal with the aftermath. Of course, because Zhongting had surveillance cameras, Feng Chang's death could be directly handed over to the police station to be summarized, and the case could be closed. Such a ruthless bandit is simply perverted. He caused so much trouble, but he ended up without a corpse left. He really deserved it. Officer Long cursed as he collected Feng Chang's body tissues. How many days have we not slept because of him? Clean up early and restore this place to its original state. Zhongting's employees still have to work tomorrow. Do you have the cheek to let the female employees come in and see Feng Chang's charred body tissues? It's better not to. I can't bear the responsibility of scaring those ladies. The police and the forensics team were working hard to clean up the scene. The explosives that Su Che had collected were all handed over to the police. Captain Tang, let's talk in private. Why didn't you deal with the father and son from the Song family? How are they? Tang Yin was busy. At this time, he had no time to care about the two of them. The father has done all sorts of bad things, but he's actually safe and sound. On the other hand, his son Song Buozhi had his right leg amputated. He'll have to spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair. Officer Long clicked his tongue. That's quite a pity. Tang Yin sighed. Although he was a criminal police officer, he really hated the father and son from the Song family. Now that Feng Chong was dead, the Song family would not be so easily dealt with. If Feng Chong was captured alive, Song Jiang would not be able to escape sooner or later. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. The few of them returned from the hospital in a sorry state. As soon as they reached home, Sheng Xiao said to his parents, "It's fine. It's just a minor injury. The police at Zhongting know how to deal with the aftermath. Don't worry." Mama Sheng handed the child to Feng Shanshan and glared at him. "Who cares if you're dead or alive? Look at how scared you've scared Chi-Chi. Comfort her well." Sheng Xiao smiled. He was handsome. Even though he was in a sorry state, it did not affect his heroic spirit. "Let's go back to the room." Before Mu Chi-Chi could recover from her fear, Sheng Xiao had already brought her upstairs. After returning to the room, Sheng Xiao took off his coat. Mu Chi-Chi immediately reacted. "I'll go to the bathroom to turn on the water for you." Sheng Xiao reached out to stop her and pressed her shoulder. "There's no need. I'll go myself." "You can't touch." Before she could say the word water, Sheng Xiao's kiss had already fallen. At first, he knew how to restrain his gentleness, but gradually, the desire in his heart was aroused. If Mu Chi-Chi was not pregnant, he might have already taken action. This place has become a lot bigger. After the passionate kiss, Sheng Xiao hugged Mu Chi-Chi and teased her. "You're still in the mood to talk about this? What happened tonight? Why are you all injured? Where's Feng Chong?" Sheng Xiao tidied up his shirt as he answered Mu Chi-Chi. "He's dead. He was blown to pieces. In the future, he won't be able to cause trouble for us anymore." "Really?" Mu Chi-Chi was doubtful. "Are you lying to me? If there really was an explosion, you wouldn't have been able to escape unscathed. I'm really not lying to you this time." With that, Sheng Xiao sat on the sofa and pulled the little thing onto his lap. "When I saw you crying just now, I felt that I wasn't fit to be your husband." "Nonsense." Mu Chi-Chi quickly covered his mouth. "There's no one in the world who loves me more than you do." The two of them hugged quietly for a while. Then Sheng Xiao suddenly asked Mu Chi-Chi, "Your birthday is coming up. What's your wish this time?" Chapter 974. No matter how energetic Song Jiang is, it's impossible for him to cause trouble right after the explosion in the Song family. Besides, we have to investigate Feng Chong's matter. Song Jiang has to know how to restrain himself. Sheng Xiao pointed at Mu Chi-Chi's nose and asked, "Do you understand?" Song Jiang brought this upon himself. He ruined both his son and daughter. If I were him, I would commit seppuku. This was just Mu Chi-Chi's one-sided thought. Song Jiang never thought so. Even if Song Buoji's right leg was gone this time, he still believed that on the road to revenge, how could there not be some sacrifices? A person like Song Jiang stirred up trouble in the name of revenge. For the sake of his own power and desire, he ignored human lives. He didn't even let go of his own children. I really don't believe that he will end up well. If you don't believe me, then don't believe me. You should at least let me take a bath first, right? After Mu Chi-Chi heard this, she got up from Sheng Xiao's lap. Without Feng Chong, she should be able to sleep peacefully tonight. Jianchuan Hospital the next morning. Song Buoji had been unconscious on the bed after the amputation. He had only just woken up now. When he opened his eyes, the first person he saw was not his father, Song Jiang, but his sister Song Qiaoji, who he had looked down on in the past. She was wearing a white coat and was making ward rounds with the surgeon. "Brother, you're awake?" Song Buoji opened his mouth, but he could not say anything. Song Qiaoji quickly put down the medical records and moistened his lips. Only then did Song Buoji feel that his throat had improved. Why can't I move?" Song Qiaoji stood up straight and saw that his right leg was empty. She did not know what to say. Song Buoji was very smart. Looking at her expression, he knew that things wouldn't be so simple. So he used all his strength to prop up his head and saw his lower body. Then, he widened his eyes and fell to the ground, unable to accept what had happened. "My leg? Brother, don't be like this. Technology is so advanced now. You can still stand up and walk in the future, just without your right leg. Only the right leg is missing? Song Boji almost went crazy when he got an affirmative answer. What's the difference between me and a cripple now? Brother, don't be like this. Where's Dad? Where's Dad? Song Boji looked around. I don't know, I haven't seen him, but I know he's fine. Song Qiaoji replied patiently. Feng Chang's matter is quite big now. Perhaps he went back to take charge of the overall situation. After Song Boji heard this, his face was expressionless. He only sneered. Go. Don't come to see me again. Big brother. You're the daughter-in-law of the Sheng family now. Why do you still have to call me big brother? Moreover, is there such a disabled big brother like me? I'm not your big brother. I've always looked down on you. Don't flatter yourself. Song Qiaoji knew how strong Song Boji's pride was, so she did not force him. She was an obstetrician, and had come purely to know if there was anything she could help with. She knew very well that their father was a complete beast. However, seeing how uncomfortable Song Boji was, Song Qiaoji could only sigh and walk out of Song Boji's ward with the other doctors. Song Boji could not accept the pain of losing his right leg, so he picked up the phone on the bedside table with difficulty and called Song Jiang. Due to the explosion, the screen of the phone was shattered. However, he called 3 times in a row, but Song Jiang did not pick up. On the last call, Song Jiang's urgent voice was heard. Son, you're awake? I'm awake. Where are you? I'm at home. Yashang Group is in a mess now. You're injured, so someone has to take charge of the overall situation, right? So, now that your son has lost his right leg, you can immediately go back to work as if nothing happened. Song Boji found it unbelievable. Otherwise, my 20 years of hard work will all be destroyed in one day. I'm not talking to you anymore. Have a good rest. With that, Song Jiang hung up. This was completely different from the father, who usually cared about him. Song Boji even felt that what he had lost might not be his leg, but Song Jiang's love. Yes, a son without a leg was like a broken chess piece. He was not as useful as before. But who gave him this? For a moment, Song Boji really wanted to call the police. He really wanted to die together with Song Jiang. However, after thinking about it carefully, he felt that it was not worth it. If he had to die, he should let that old man die by himself. That afternoon, the television news used 10 minutes to report on Feng Chang's arrest. In short, he had been blown into minced meat. However, Feng Chang was very involved, especially when he caused trouble in Zhongting. It was simply beyond the imagination of the audience. This person was not only cruel, but also brainless. Zhongting also issued an announcement that there were no casualties in cooperating with the police to arrest Feng Chang. Moreover, Zhongting had also returned to normal operations. The police announced that they had solved the case, including the previous Lu Zhao case, and the 2 subsequent explosions. However, it was a pity that the bureau chief did not manage to catch him alive and clean up Song Jiang. In the Jianchuan branch office, the bureau chief stood in front of his desk with his hands on his hips and said to Tang Yin, "You've suffered a lot in this operation to arrest Feng Chang. Your house and your newborn son are all waiting for you to settle down. I'll give you a week off. The people from the 9th Division aren't going to investigate further? If we follow Feng Chang's lead, we can follow the clues. It's only a matter of time before we find Song Jiang." Tang Yin felt indignant. Chapter 975. He had heard of Lin Muan. Whether he was a good seedling or not, they would know once they met. In the afternoon, Tang Yin went to the banyan courtyard to pick up Feng Shanshan and her son. It was just that their nest had been blown into a terrible state. So, Tang Yin decided to bring Feng Shanshan and his son to stay at Professor Tang's house for a few days. When the house was repaired, he would bring his wife and son back to their place. Why are you leaving? Even if there are 2 more people, the banyan courtyard can still accommodate them. Mama Sheng asked the family of 3 to stay. She felt that the more people there were, the livelier it would be, and it would be more convenient for 5th aunt to take care of them. However, Feng Shanshan, and her husband still knew their limits. They were already disturbing enough, and it was not appropriate for them to stay any longer. Auntie, thank you very much for this period of time. However, I'm really sorry to disturb you any longer. Feng Shanshan hugged the child and said to Mama Sheng apologetically, "We'll visit you often in the future." If that's the case, then all right. Mama Sheng did not continue to insist, and sent the family of 3 out of the banyan courtyard. Tang Yin held his son in one hand, and his wife in the other. The 3 of them did not have any luggage. "Following me, you've really suffered." "I don't think this is suffering." Feng Shanshan hugged his arm and smiled. "In the past, when I was alone, I only wanted freedom. I felt that relationships and family were burdens. But now, with you and a child, I can understand how precious it is for a family to be safe and happy together." Tang Yin hugged his son with one hand and her with the other. "So I want to tell you a piece of good news. The director is going to make me the deputy director. I want to give you and your son a more stable life. I want to hire a nanny to help you, so I agreed. When our son is a little older, I hope that you will be able to complete your dreams and things that you haven't completed in the past. I don't want you to give up your life just to take care of the child and me." Feng Shanshan's eyes turned red. "Should I congratulate you in advance?" Deputy Commissioner Tang. Fool. The family of 3 went to Professor Tang's house. He had just returned home after being hospitalized for surgery. However, being able to see his nephew's happiness, Professor Tang felt that he had no regrets in this life. 3 days after Feng Chang's case, Jianchuan gradually returned to peace. Because of Feng Chang, the Song family was now in a state of disunity. Even if Song Jiang wanted to forcefully turn things around, with the pressure from the Lu family, he still felt that it was extremely difficult. After playing for so long, he did not get anything. Instead, he lost his children, and even damaged the foundation of Yashang Group. Just thinking about it, Song Jiang also felt uncomfortable. At this moment, Song Buozhi had been lying in the hospital for 3 days, but as his father, he did not dare to look at him. He understood his son's character, but there was nothing he could do now. Song Buozhi was already crippled. To him, he was a burden. He did not need his crippled son now, because it would hinder him from seeking revenge on the Shin family. Although it was said to be revenge, the Shin family did not show up from the beginning to the end, because Sheng Xiao alone could stop an entire army. According to the current decline of the Song family, if they continued to fight with Sheng Xiao, the Song family might not last until the beginning of next year. Therefore, he decided to continue following up on Deputy Liang. After all, he had done so much for Deputy Liang. As for Yashang Group, there was also the American finance industry. Now that Song Buozhi was in such a situation, he planned to find a professional to supervise and manage the funds, in order to preserve his last bit of strength, in order to fight Sheng Xiao. However, what Song Jiang did not expect was that Song Buozhi had disappeared from the hospital. It was the nurse who found out that he was missing, and called him to confirm his whereabouts. It was only then that Song Jiang realized that Song Buozhi had been planning to escape for the past 3 days. Song Jiang went to the hospital to go through the procedures, and bumped into Song Qiaoji. When the father and daughter met again, they were enemies. Originally, Song Qiaoji had nothing to say to Song Jiang. However, just as the 2 of them brushed past each other, Song Jiang suddenly pulled her back. "Did you hide your brother?" Song Qiaoji pushed Song Jiang's hand away and replied, "I always thought that even if you didn't care about us daughters, you would always care about my brother, your son. However, from the fact that you didn't come once during the 4 days he was hospitalized, I understand that his position in your heart is actually similar to mine. He's just a pawn. He knows it in his heart, so he made his own choice. Since you don't care about his life or death, why are you still putting on an act? Mr. Song, take care." After saying that, Song Qiaoji bypassed Song Jiang without hesitation. Song Buozhi would definitely return, but at that time, he would definitely not be a pawn in Song Jiang's hands. As Sheng Xiao had expected, the Song family didn't even have time to deal with him now. It was impossible for them to cause any new trouble. Even if Song Jiang had the energy, he didn't have the ability. Yashang Group was now being suppressed by the old education industry in Jianchuan. As for Song Buozhi, just like the rumors, he disappeared from Jianchuan. He didn't care about the life and death of Yashang Group at all. As a result, Yashang Group announced its delisting, and a new team took over the subsequent operations. This indirectly explains Song Jiang's current predicament. On the other side, Tang Yan's promotion was put on the agenda. Actually, according to his qualifications, he was more than qualified to be the deputy chief. It was just that he had always been arrogant and unruly. Now that he had a wife and child, he put away his thoughts of being a prodigal son and wanted to give his wife and child the best family atmosphere. A month later, the trainee police officers had to report to the police station. The chief asked him to guide the newcomers. He wasn't interested in anything else, but he wanted to have a good look at Lin Muan. Ever since Feng Chang and Song Jiang stopped causing trouble, life seemed to have suddenly returned to its former calm. Mu Qiqi was still at home, focused on giving birth. In order to spend more time with the little one, Sheng Xiao not only threw away his work at Huangyao, but also gave half of Zhongting's work to Shen Jianchuan. Shen Jianchuan was such a considerate father-in-law. Knowing that his daughter couldn't leave her son-in-law, he took the initiative to volunteer. After passing the board of directors' resolution, he became one of the vice presidents of Zhongting. Therefore, Sheng Xiao only worked half a day now. The rest of the time, he could accompany Mu Qiqi at home to tell stories, do prenatal education, and even pick out clothes for the child and decorate the baby's room. Sometimes, even he himself would be in a daze. He had never thought that he would have such a day when he would do things himself. He was so meticulous that he massaged the little one's feet and went to the bathroom to put on a non-slip mat. If outsiders knew that Sheng Xiao, who was so famous in Jianchuan, was a slave to his wife at home, who knew how many people would be shocked? Thinking about it, Sheng Xiao sighed, but he still took the little one's favorite fruit upstairs. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.